Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Sovereign Citizen Day. How's it going, everyone? We're here to watch more Sovereign Citizens and take a look at the weird things they believe. So it should be good. We have some Cataspinda and many more. How's everyone doing on this Thursday afternoon? Hope you're doing well. Mr. Blast, Phoenix Leftist, Nemesaur, Just Darce, Spokane Dogman. How's everyone doing? Meru-sama. Welcome back, everyone. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. It helps a lot. If you want to help support the stream, we're close to Costume Month Part 3, though I am enjoying getting to just kind of wear my own clothes again for a little bit. So that's nice. If you want to help support the show, memberships, subscriptions, bits, and super chats always help. Also went to the Halloween store today because they finally opened. Got a pair of wolf ears, so these are added to the hats off. I thought it would balance out the cat ears. Now you have options in terms of ears. So yeah, that's good. We're here for it. How's it going? Thank you, Diamond Weight Loss. Appreciate it. All right. Oh, Bumble Homestead with the hats off. I'm assuming you want the new one. I'm assuming you want the new one. One ear flops down. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it does that. Eh. Finally opened. It's not even September yet. Yeah, but they should be open every day of the year because it's easier to get costumes that way. Black's Law Dictionary request. What do you want me to look up? Citizen? Okay, I can do that. Black's Law Dictionary definition of a citizen. They had fox ears at the store today, too. Citizen, citizen, citizen. There we go. Citizen. One who under the Constitution and laws of the United States or of a particular state is a member of the political community, owing allegiance and being entitled to the enjoyment of full civil rights. All persons born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment. Woohoo! We did. MH Darkbee says, having an awful day, but not as bad as Michael Lindell with no mustache or Matt Walsh in disguise at the DNC. Yeah, Matt Walsh's disguise is just so fucking bad. It's really bad. Michael Lindell looks uncanny without a mustache. That was a bad choice. Thanks, Profane Priestess. Alright, let's turn this music off and we'll start with some Cataspinda.
Organically grown and handcrafted skin and wellness products from nature. Visit gardenpathmedicinals.com. Hello, good men, women, sons, and daughters. This is Cataspinda with One New Earth, and welcome to my show. I just want to thank you for joining me each time. There's many of you who have become regulars, and I've got to know some of you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you supporting me with your viewership. With your donations. Everything helps towards getting the word out and the truth out, and the truth matters. I basically made that my mantra because the truth has not mattered for a long time. Now, I wanted to share with you today, I came across this jot form. It's a grand jury notice, and I found it on Jaron Jackson's Rumble channel. So if you want to check out Jaron Jackson, if you haven't heard about him, he's got quite a big following on Rumble, and he's pretty knowledgeable. And all of us right now are kind of talking about some of the same things. He brought up Gorsuch, Neil Gorsuch, and I wanted to bring this up to you because this jot form.
She likes Gorsuch. She did another video recently where she talks about how she likes him, which I find weird considering her general disdain for the judiciary, but whatever. Trey, thanks for a 7-stream streak, says, I feel like it's more than 7. Hey, Hannah. Hey, chat. How's it going, Trey?
Form that was put together. I'm not sure if he put it together. It was actually shared to me by a friend of mine.
Oh shit, Unstable Deadbeat with a $25 tip says, speaking of costumes, thank you. Closer to yet another costume month.
Hey, Wendy. And so
no, she's not in that house anymore.
You know, I saw it and
she moved.
I read through it and I wanted to share it with you. And I'm going to make the link available in my description area. So if you want to sign it, it's as easy as putting your name in and hitting a button and done. And you've got this grand jury notice that
evicted. But in fairness, I don't know. Like, she was legally evicted. I don't know if she had to be forced out of the house or if she voluntarily left. Either way, she's not there anymore.
Goes out to people in our government. So I'm going to pull this up on my screen
Splintered Red Dragon,
because I want you to see it, and we're going to read through it, and then I'm going to put out a call to action, because I believe everything that we do to bring justice and truth to the forefront, we need to participate. And something like this, you know, I read through it, and I feel like it's a very good avenue, especially for those of you who maybe don't get out as much, or you want to know if there's something that you can do. Here's something you can do. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can read through this together. So here we go. Here we go. So this is a notice that's going to the Supreme Court justices.
Two Supreme Court justices, to Thomas Massey, Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert. Apparently they're CC'd on this.
And also,
the people, I know she's going to go through this, but I gotta read this. The People's Notice and Constitutional Demand to access grand juries as right to redress grievances. Notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. I blank, one of the people, as seen in the 50 American states, Republican in form, Surrey jurists, do present this notice by necessity for you and your agents to take immediate due care.
So going to Thomas Massey, Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Lauren Boebert.
Does she like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert? That makes sense. I guess I've been confused about who the demographic, like, what demographic does Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert appeal to? Apparently we found it. It's Cat. It's Cat, and people like Cat apparently like them. That's interesting. That tell me anything? Probably not, but it's interesting.
The People's Notice and Constitutional Demand to access grand juries as right to redress grievances. So notice a.
So to be clear, grand juries are a thing, but you can't just call one as like a random citizen. That's not how this works. Grand juries are selected similar to jury duty, similar to typical jury duty. It's a little different. But basically, you come together and do listening to evidence to decide if there's enough evidence to indict someone. So it's prior to the actual trial. A grand jury is when an attorney general or whatever, the district attorney, brings people together in this grand jury, and they determine, is there enough evidence to bring an indictment against whoever, right? That's what a grand jury is. You can't just call for one as a random person. That's not how any of this works.
Agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. Very important to always make sure you put that in your paperwork. So
why?
Here's some paperwork that you can look at, and maybe you can put this in your paperwork arsenal as well, in case you have something that you could use similar verbiage on.
I'm just imagining like the scene from The Matrix with like guns, lots of guns, but instead of that, it's just like nonsense paperwork. Lots of nonsense paperwork, and then infinite rows of file cabinets of sovereign citizen bullshit slide in from off screen in the non-existent unformed white zone.
But here we go. I, comma, and your given birth name, one of the people as seen in the 50 American states, Republican in form, sui juris. And we know that sui juris means...
Oh, that's so much better, Harold Elbelman. God damn it. Harold Elbelman with the 3-stream streak says, sorry I'm back down to 3. Missed that morning stream by like 10 minutes. Wish we could spend bits to save a streak. That would be nice. Glad to be here, though. I've been looking forward to SovSit days ever since I found that Parse Grammar PDF, somewhere. Parse Syntax Grammar? Quantum Grammar, as revealed to us by David Wynn Miller, or whatever his name is.
That we are basically presenting ourselves as a man or woman. And so
I know all about presenting yourself as a man and a woman. You're speaking my language, Kat. Go.
Present this notice by necessity for you and your agents to take immediate due care. Please take notice that we, the people, have responsibly assembled, studied, and know our authority to regulate our servants and trustees in government. And please take note that the people are grateful that the Supreme Court has obeyed our lawful notice by declaring the original understanding of law as during the founding generation of this nation, such as reaffirming that government has no sovereign immunity when the people's rights are violated. Kurtz versus Department of Ag. That non-judicial tribunals do not provide constitutional due process by the common law, SEC versus Jarkissi, that there is no immunity for unofficial acts of public officers, Trump versus the United States, and that the American people are sovereign over government, Loper versus Raimondo. Please take notice that the Supreme Court and all government actors must obey the constitutions. And please take note that we, the people, now demand by necessity free and open access to grand juries to redress our grievances.
What? Like, has she thought this through even a little bit? Like, if all of a sudden any rando can bring anyone and a jury, like, if I could just be like, we're putting a grand jury together, chat, and like I got all of you, and we decided we disliked someone, I don't know, let's pick a random person. Michio Kaku. Let's say we were like, we don't like Michio Kaku. He's on the Science Channel too often. His hair annoys me, or something. Let's say you were crazy and that was your belief. And I said, we're all gonna come together and we're gonna do a grand jury on Michio Kaku, right? That's just crazy. You can't do that. You can't. Everyone's gonna be working out their grievances by getting little posses together with torches and doing a grand jury. Not good.
Now, I don't know if you know about redressing grievances. Definitely something they didn't teach in school.
Also, you don't have to apologize for being late. This isn't a mandatory appointment, though I appreciate it. It would be funny if I got mad at you guys for not being here immediately, though. Like, how dare you? Obviously, the most important thing in your life is this random stream I do.
Cool. But basically, you have the right as a man or woman to redress your grievance.
It's not mandatory unless that's the only reason you're here, in which case it is mandatory and you're not allowed to leave.
And the way it's done is through the...
Nemesaur says, so Kurtz v. Department of Agriculture is explicitly about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Sovereign citizens don't tend to know how to cite cases appropriately. If it has anything that they can cherry pick that they think fits their argument, they'll cite the case. Even if in context, it doesn't make any sense for what they're doing.
Legislature, so people that are in the legislative body, they would be the ones that you would send this to. Okay, and in this case, it's to the people that it's attached to.
Can you have a bathroom pass? Yes.
Or the people that I read in...
But you only have 30 seconds. Go.
In the beginning. Getting grand juries is going to be very important because right now the system that we have and the court system we have, it's so fake. It's so criminal. It's so outside of the scope of law. There is no law. I mean, basically, they're just looking at codes, and these people are...
To be clear, codes and laws are synonyms.
Administrators.
In this context.
As we found out, from Supreme Court Justice
Need time to wash your hands? 35 seconds.
Neil Gorsuch.
Overthought with 100 bits says the Constitution is full of vagaries that can loosely be outlined for the law. Shouting that the government needs to follow the Constitution is like asking someone to make a pie with some of the ingredients and maybe telling you what temp to set the oven at. Other laws are needed for society to function. Yeah, sovereign citizens don't know that. Or at least they claim not to know that. They think things are black and white. They'll just say something like, ooh, natural law, I follow natural law, and they think that that's the end-all be-all. We did it. We solved the problem of legalism. We did it.
So I'm going to continue on.
Like a lot of conspiracy theories, it serves to simplify a complicated world that makes people uncomfortable.
This United States Constitution, First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 27.
I don't understand why she cited the First Amendment. Does she think that assembly has anything to do with grand juries? You can petition for the government to do something, but that's not a grand jury. And now you're citing the Texas Constitution. That's only applicable in Texas.
Citizens shall have the right in a peaceable manner to assemble together for their common good and apply to those invested with the powers of government for redress of grievances or other purposes by petition, address, or remonstrance. I know I've spoke to you before and had Dale Richardson on my show, but he's very much into this process of redressing your grievances because this is the way we are to get our message onto the floor where they have to listen. But
Texas is a separate country. I wish.
A lot of times it's hard to find a legislature that you can actually hand this stuff over to. So I'm going to keep reading this.
Does she not know you can send letters to, like, Congress people? You can do that. It just doesn't mean they're going to do whatever you ask. You're allowed to petition. It doesn't mean the government has to do what your petition asks. Right?
Maxim of law. What is necessary is lawful. Jenk sent page 76, case 45. Please take note that for centuries, the common law showed the common right of the common man to give evidence of a crime to a grand jury. Grand juries protect people from government corruption. Today, however, justice is perverted as grand juries are unlawfully withheld from millions of people because access is blocked by prosecutors and other sworn servants who use inferior authorities such as statutes, case law, or court rules, none of which comes from an express grant of power from any constitution to block the people's right to redress grievances. By contrast, the constitutions, state and federal, include plain text provisions that defer to the people's expanded and guaranteed rights and liberties. Constitutions bind government, not people.
So far, she's not cited a single thing that says she should be able to just do a grand jury. The only things that she's gestured towards are, well, I have a right to petition the government, and I'm petitioning you to give me the power to assemble grand juries with legal authority. No. The answer is no. Thank you for your petition, Kat. What did you think was going to happen here?
Juries belong to the people. See evidence below. United States Constitution, 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people.
Yes, and the state prosecutes people using grand juries to get an indictment that are assembled of the people.
Oklahoma Constitution, Article 2, Section 33. The enumeration in this Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny, impair, or disparage other retained by the people.
Right, you don't have the right to do a grand jury as an independent individual, though. That's never been a right.
Virginia Constitution Article 1, Section 17. The right enumerated in this Bill of Rights shall not be construed to limit other rights of the people not therein expressed.
Okay. I'm done with this video. I do want to show there was another video she put out, though, that had, I believe, a brief excerpt from her
When you're making the book is
from her court hearing. So I would like to play some of this court hearing that she was in for, you know, her deal. I will play the intro, though. The little intro she does, and then it'll get into her court case, and then after that we'll move on to another sovereign citizen thing, probably a court video. Oh, there's her shilling stuff.
Hello, good men, women, sons, and daughters. This is Catispinda with One New Earth, and welcome to my show. Today, I want to talk to you about something very exciting that is happening right now. I caught wind of a tour that Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch is on, and he is exposing the fake black robes and the fake courts that are out there right now. And that is why I played that clip earlier. I saw that clip and I watched it and I thought, oh my gosh. So I started gathering some more.
Neil Gorsuch at the Reagan Library is like a double cursed sentence.
Clips that I'm going to show you in just a little bit. But I wanted to talk to you about this because this is very important. So we have a Supreme Court justice basically calling out the fact that there are people out there, basically administrators, which I've been saying and other people have been saying for quite a long time now, that like to wear the black robes, and they used to be called hearing officers, but now somehow they've expanded the title description, and you know how these people love their titles, and they inserted things in there that were never meant to be. And now we have these people who work for the corporation who are judges.
I love her little kangaroo images. That's always nice. I wonder if she cut out these PNGs of these people's faces herself, or did she find pictures of these people where they're cut out?
Is where their employers are literally they're winning every single case because they work for them. So who else are they going to adjudicate for and against? And in my case, and the reason I bring it up is because I was in court on August 16th. It was this last Friday, 2024, at 1:30 p.m. at Superior Court in Benton County, where Judge Bronson Browncoat, his last name is Brown, but we're going to call him Browncoat now. And, you know, be rest assured, he will get his own meme and be added to the toilet bowl of.
Got him! He will get his own meme, and he will be added to the toilet bowl. Consider yourself on notice, sir. You've been toilet bowled. Pat, you lost your house, and you think this is getting him? Putting a fucking photoshopped image of him in a turlet? Okay, great, cool. What does brown coat mean? I feel like she's thinking brown shirt or red coat, and she's mixing them? Could also just be a poop joke. But no, his name is Brown, so why the coat? He's got to be trying to reference red coats or brown shirts or both. That's my guess. They did get Skibidi toileted. Did you see they're making a Skibidi toilet movie? How does that work? Aren't the models from Skibidi Toilet from Gmod, which is, the models are owned by Valve? The Skibidi Toilet is the G-Man. He's Skibidi's the toilet. Ugh.
No justice as well. I went ahead and I'm going to share this with you first before I share any more of Justice Neil Gorsuch's clips, because
Brown Coats is the name for the Firefly TV show fan base. I did know that.
This is exciting. And I have gone through this process because I know that I am telling the truth. I have provided empirical evidence, step-by-step evidence of bank fraud with my...
I'm pronouncing that in a frustrating way. I don't have children. You think I know how to pronounce these fucking Zoomer words? I don't know how to say skibidi toilet, skibidi, skapapapatu, toilet.
Bank Hapo Community Credit Union in Kennewick, Washington.
Hapo!
Of course, there's no due process, just like Neil Gorsuch said. These people, they go after you in these civil matters where they steal from you, they kidnap you, they steal your home, your car, your business, your children, and they're not even fit to be judges. They're administrators. They don't have the right to do what they're doing to the people, and they're doing it all day long. And now we have a justice actually touring the country right now, as you saw earlier in the intro.
Skibidi toilet. Thank you, Broha. Broha is slightly younger than us, so he's hip to the jive. He's got it going on. He's got it going down in Chinatown. I hit 30 and I hit a wall of not being in touch with things so hard and so fast. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
And again, I'm going to be showing you more clips. But first of all, I want to show you the clip of this Friday. And you will hear, I was actually surprised. For the most part, he let me speak and say what I had to say. And
Hannah starting her conservative arc. Literally kill me if that happens in Minecraft or whatever I have to say on Twitch. If I do that, literally destroy me and destroy the ashes so I can't be brought back.
I was also called by the...
What'll I do at 40? I don't know. We'll see if I make it there.
Opposing...
I'll cross that bridge if I get to it.
Attorney, a sovereign citizen, which is defamation. Because I never, ever once called myself a sovereign citizen.
It doesn't matter if you call yourself it. You are doing the thing. If it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck. It's descriptive, not prescriptive.
Ever. As we all know, and people who watch this show, a citizen is a slave. And that I am not. And I have been standing in the truth from the beginning. And at every turn, these people have tried to keep me out, squashed my cases, no due process.
Them looking at your cases and dismissing them is due process. If you're filing lawsuits that are frivolous and have no standing, it's their job to look at them and then determine that and get rid of them if that's the case. That is due process.
We'll go to...
Although these are civil matters, not criminal.
2 on the over 10 dockets, cause number 24200984003, Kathy Espinda versus Jared Pivot, and Eric Jones.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. John Himes on behalf of defendant Ken Hohenberg.
Good afternoon.
I do see that Ms. Espinda is on WebEx at the moment.
Mrs. Spenda, can you hear us?
So she sued a cop, I assume, for actions taken with her house getting taken from her because she stopped paying the mortgage.
I am here and I can hear you.
Because she doesn't think money's real.
Okay. So this matter's on for defendant's motion to dismiss defendant Mr. Holmberg. And because this is the defendant's motion, I will allow you to present anything you would like, and then Mrs. Spenda, you can respond.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would point out that I do not believe that Mrs. Spenda filed a response to our motion to dismiss in this case, unless the court has one that was served today. Our office was not served with a copy.
Wait, she didn't respond to a motion to dismiss? That's pretty funny. That's on you, Kat. It's like, they dismissed my case. You didn't respond to the filing to dismiss it. It's part of your job. If you're operating pro se.
In any event, this is it's an odd case. It seems to be in response to an unlawful detainer action in a somewhat unrelated, or an entirely unrelated cause number 24200800303. That was filed by a co-defendant in this case, defendant Fielding, which this court previously granted a motion to dismiss on his motion. And these appear to be counterclaims in that cause number that were alleged in a separate cause number of this action. We're treating these as two causes of action. It appears that Mrs. Spenda has alleged a fraud claim, or has attempted to allege a fraud claim, as well as a trespass claim. Mr. Hohenberg is the board chairman of Hapo Community Credit Union.
Okay, I see.
Which, by way of background, the credit union had previously foreclosed on real property owned by Mrs. Spenda, and that property was sold pursuant to a trustee's sale. The claim itself alleges those facts. Mr. Hohenberg has nothing to do with the actions of the credit union in that regard, at least in a...
So she sued a random guy who's probably relatively high up at the credit union because the credit union foreclosed on her house, because she stopped paying for it, because she got convinced by the internet that money is fake. Got it.
Personal sense. As far as Mrs. Spenda's claim for trespass, Mr. Hohenberg has not set foot on that property. And in fact, this court previously ruled against Mrs. Spenda in that unlawful detainer action that I mentioned just a bit ago. So Mrs. Spenda cannot state a claim for trespass regarding that issue because it's effectively already been adjudicated. With respect to what appears to be a fraud claim, there aren't any of the elements for fraud alleged in this complaint.
Yeah, I imagine she doesn't know what the elements for fraud are because she's not a lawyer. Those that don't know, when you file, if you were to file a fraud claim against someone in civil court, you need to, have the elements listed. There are specific elements to each crime or civil infraction, right? And if you're going to try and sue someone, or in the criminal context, indict someone for these things, you are supposed to show to the court, hey, here are the things that I am alleging that fit the criteria for the elements of this crime, or civil illegality, whatever. She doesn't know that, I guess, and that's a basic thing. That's one of the most basic things. Harold Edelman, what do you want me to look up in Black's Law Dictionary?
There's 9 elements to state a claim for fraud. It doesn't allege, what the representation of existing fact was, what fact was false, the speaker's knowledge of the falsity, the intent of the speaker.
What are the elements of fraud? I don't know if that'll be, how would I don't know if elements of fraud is in here. I can look up fraud. On, whatever that representation is. Ultimately, this claim fails to allege any requisite elements for either claim for relief, and nor could it be saved by an amendment to this complaint. So he's trying to get it dismissed with prejudice, so it can't be brought up again, which probably will happen.
For the most part, this claim is fairly unintelligible.
That's a shame. This claim is unintelligible. You don't want to hear that in court. I can't imagine. We are almost there. Fraud, an intentional perversion of truth for the purpose of inducing another in reliance upon it to part with some valuable thing belonging to him or to surrender a legal right. A false representation of a matter of fact, whether by words or conduct, by the false or misleading allegations, or by concealment of that which should have been disclosed, which deceives, and is intended to deceive another, so that he shall act upon it to his legal injury. Any kind of artifice employed by one person to deceive another. Goldstein v. Equitable Life Assurance Society of U.S. 160 miscellaneous. A generic term embracing all multifarious means which human ingenuity can devise, and which are resorted to by one individual to get advantage over another. Elements of a cause of action for fraud include false representation of a present or past fact made by a defendant, action in reliance thereupon by plaintiff, and damage resulting to plaintiff from such misrepresentation. Citizen Standard Life Insurance and Co. v. Gilly, Texas Civil App. So, that's in this one. This is an old edition, though. This is 5th edition. This is very out of date. So he mentioned 9 elements. That might be state. Maybe his state has 9 elements for fraud. Maybe that's just the updated federal law. I don't know. This one only listed 3.
It appears to be based on what would be known as sovereign citizen concepts. I should note that Mrs.
Mute yourself, Cat, when you're doing something with your dogs.
has filed numerous other court actions in federal district court, both against Mr. Hohenberg and against other defendants.
Mute yourself. It's one button. Look, just do this. Just click it, and it'll mute if you push the button. Just push the button.
All of the sovereign citizen type claims in a very well-reasoned opinion.
That bit was funnier from my end than your end. Sometimes you gotta make yourself laugh.
Denying a motion for injunctive relief back in December of last year. So we're asking for a dismissal with prejudice.
As I've said often, there ain't no consent quite as informed as a mortgage document. Oh yeah, they aren't fucking around with mortgage documents. When I signed mine, you have to sign your initials about 50,000 times throughout the document. If you've ever seen a show or anything where it's a joke of like, here's initial here, and 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 here, I'm pretty sure that joke comes from people having experienced signing a mortgage agreement. Because you initial your name so many times. Benikagami says, Sovsid seem to think that all they need to do is file a complaint and then others are supposed to look into the complaint to find evidence for them. This makes sense because laziness is at the core of their ideology. I would argue it's at the core of many conspiratorial ideologies.
In this case, because any purported amendment to the complaint would ultimately be futile here. Okay. That's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions that the court may have. So.
Thank you, counsel. Ms. Suspended, do you have any? The court didn't get any response to this motion from you. I don't see anything filed. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, thank you.
I like that she put her PNG in a little in a court background. That's nice. She took the time to put the other people in toilets and herself in a professional environment. Classy.
And
the real power move is to put yourself in a better toilet. That way they know, hey, I might be shit too, but I got shit into a better toilet.
The term sovereign citizen has never, ever once been mentioned in any paperwork that I've turned in. That's defamation, as far as I'm concerned.
No, that's not how this works. You can't sue someone for defamation for allegations made during a trial. Moira Soma, thanks for gifting a sub.
Ken Hohenberg and his counsel did not respond to the court.
And yes, it's also not defamation if it's true. I would argue, yeah, it's true. By the colloquial definition, she's a sovereign citizen.
Within the 21 days after he was served, I did receive an email from his counsel saying my counterclaim was frivolous and to stop bothering their client. Highly unprofessional, to say the least. Why did they not respond to this case within the 21-day deadline? And why am I so fervent about the truth being heard on this case where fraud abounds? Defendant Eric Todd Jones, who
that's conclusory,
is still on the run, cannot be found or served. If one of the people were to miss a deadline of a court case to respond, there would be a default judgment on behalf of the plaintiff. I am still attempting to serve Eric Todd Jones, where several attempts were made to serve him.
That's not what this is about.
But ultimately, he moved out.
She's going off on a complete tangent about a different guy she's trying to serve. That's irrelevant.
Of his residence, and I'm unable to locate him at this time. Why is he running from service? When I attempted to serve Jared Fielding, he would not accept my service and told my server to serve it to his attorneys at Selsky Law. And that's not how it works. I had him served while he was not home, since he was avoiding service, and it was accepted by a younger female at his location. Jared originally used Powell and Gunter, who recused themselves from this case, And that is when Selsky Law got involved. Even Powell and Gunter wanted nothing to do with this case after I served them with my counterclaim, including all of the paperwork and evidence proving, empirical evidence proving.
That's redundant.
The fraud.
Empirical evidence.
And to say
no, I get it.
My claim is unintelligible only means that you cannot read plain English and or look at actual empirical proof of fraud. It's all there in the counterclaim up front. And I just have to wonder if the truth even matters here. I attempted to originally...
Don't impugn the character of the court.
...file my counterclaim against the unlawful detainer. But according to Josie Delvin, she sent my counterclaim back, stating I had to pay to enter the counterclaim into Superior Court. In calling the Superior Court office, it is clear that no one there is willing to help or answer questions. In fact, they were rather rude about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they were the rude ones.
If we the people pay taxes and we can't get a simple answer to a question, what are we paying for? And where is the justice here?
I really wish she had recorded that phone call. I so badly want to know what ridiculous things she was asking in order to get this sort of situation. Lawyer Soma, thanks for gifting a sub.
I'm not sure how counsel knew of the procedural errors mentioned in her motion to dismiss this case on behalf of Ken, her client. Who did she get that information from? Because the woman in the Superior Court office, they don't answer questions. Do they only answer questions if you are a bar attorney, which I find highly discriminatory? I originally attempted to submit my counterclaim against the original illegal and unlawful detainer, but it was returned to me. I put together the counterclaim as the women in the Superior Court office would not accept my counterclaim against the original case. And the women in Superior Court said it was not allowed. And now I understand, based on Kimberly McGuire's motion to dismiss paperwork, that it is allowed. So how does Kimberly know about this as to why my case had procedural issues while attempting to file? Also, I'd like to note that in speaking to one of the ladies in Superior Court, many people at Benton County used Josie Delvin, the court clerk's stamp and name, and at no time could she make herself available to speak to. Apparently, she's always in meetings. On July 5th, 2024, I received an email from Kim McGuire's Ken's counsel that there was a motion to dismiss the case for Ken Hohenberg, but it was already dismissed for Jaron Fielding through Selsky. Selsky was unsure whether it was actually dismissed or not, since it was dismissed for Jared by a commissioner, which I have no name on. I have yet to receive any proof of service that I was made aware of this hearing that was signed by a commissioner on July 5th, and the commissioner's name was a scribble and completely unrecognizable. Who was the commissioner?
A lot of people's signatures aren't necessarily literally legible. It's not about that. It's about being able to match signatures to previously signed documents.
In the case that
or a handwriting sample.
I did not receive notice on or affidavit of service as proof. And where is the affidavit of service that I was served to attend?
My signature's not legible either.
That was
easily
in the defendant's favor so quickly. On July 22nd, Rihanna Siepert claims that I failed to appear for the motion to dismiss, but again, at no time did I receive any notification on this court hearing. I requested multiple times for them to provide this to me, the affidavit of service, on this motion to dismiss for Jared Fielding, but I received none to this day. How was this motion to dismiss?
Mrs. Spenda?
Yes.
Mrs. Spenda? I'm
Yes.
going to stop you there just for a minute. So that what the motion on today is to dismiss Mr. Hohenberg, not Mr. Fielding.
Yes, and
so any
Christ, he let her go on as long as he did. She was just opining about cases that are not this one. It's relevant.
arguments you have on the dismissal of Mr. Fielding, that can be addressed in a separate hearing. You have to file a motion for that. But what's before the court today is on a motion to dismiss Mr. Hohenberg.
I do understand that, but you are not the judge who listened to my case. So I'm just giving some background on what's actually happening here. Because my home was illegally and unlawfully sold by an unlicensed auctioneer by the name of Timber Burton who
Is she mad at the auctioneer now? Oh, poor guy. Did I see Mike Lindell got destroyed by a child at the DNC? I heard about it, but I haven't seen it. We're gonna do a Manga Cope stream soon, or a Chud Watch, and we'll cover it for sure.
Claims to work under PPS, which is Professional Process Services, but no name or corporation exists in either Washington State or Oregon State. And in speaking with Kayla at the Benton County Sheriff's Office, timber came from Oregon, but she had no other information on that. And doesn't the county have a responsibility to ensure that anyone having an auction at the Benton County outside is licensed to do auctions? And who is Timber Burton exactly? I have proof that neither Eric Todd Jones or Anita Heath, who are the only two other bidders besides Jared Fielding on the bidding sheet, were actually bidding. They were all acting as if they were bidding, and I have proof of that on video.
She thinks that other bidders on the house were faking bidding? Oh, Kat. Oh, this is getting a level of paranoia that's really unhealthy. I mean, she's already there, but, like, that's an extra layer. Like, she doesn't even think the people who bid on her house really were bidding on it? Does she think the government intentionally plotted to steal her house from her? Because this is beyond just sovereign citizen stuff. We're moving into, like, paranoid delusion territory.
Video. Eric Todd Jones admitted on a recorded video that he was not, in fact, bidding. The bidding sheet proves otherwise. Under proof of claim, proved that Timber Burton was not acting nefariously hired by Farley and Witt, since the sheriff department denied having anything to do with the sale. And also prove under proof of claim that he is a license, that he's a...
Yeah, I'm not sure why she thinks that. I don't know.
Licensed auctioneer under PPS, and which state exactly. Even though they were in front ready to steal my home on June 10th when I attempted to notify Sheriff Tom Croskery of this fraud 4 times, which was completely ignored.
So this time she edited them into a McDonald's, and there's Ronald McDonald, and she has a notice of liability thing. Okay, that's a choice, I guess.
3 times he was served, and I have all the affidavits to prove this, and once via email. Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Eric Eisinger was also notified via email, and I received no response. Aren't these elected officials that work for the people, shouldn't they answer? Because we get no answer. It doesn't seem like it at all. And I found that unless you're a corporation, which I'm not, you cannot win in the system. In the meantime, hundreds of thousands of...
Probably get a lawyer. I don't think it'll help, because I don't think your claims are based in anything real, but yeah, it's going to be difficult to navigate a system that you didn't go to school to learn to navigate because it's incredibly complex.
Foreclosures.
This is why, like, in criminal matters, you're entitled to an attorney. This is civil, so that doesn't apply, but nonetheless, it's indicative of how complex the system is, and even filing basic documents on the appropriate time, like, scale is something you need to learn to do.
Are happening every year while everyone in the system is protecting each other, and in the way it looks to me, abetting in fraud, which seems obvious. In the meantime, I motion this case be fully reinstated. It was there was a motion to dismiss that was approved on a court hearing that I wasn't even attending. But I'm motioning this case be fully reinstated. And
you're motioning for it to be undismissed? Case undismissed. Take out the dancing lobsters.
Allowed to continue, as I provided all of my evidence that the bank provided $0 of consideration. At no time did they provide the wet signature on the promissory note to inspect as I requested, which they are required to have on file due to banking laws and security exchange laws. Proof of consideration is required. Every contract must have a benefit and a detriment on both sides, or it is null and void, cancelable and unenforceable. So under proof of claim, prove that fraud was not committed, and provide the proof that Happy Community Credit Union, in fact, provided consideration. And if not, I'm...
Sorry, my mascara's, like, clumping in a way that's, like, really bugging my eye. 1 sec to fix it. Better, I think. Ugh.
Motion in this case continue, as we will find in the discovery period, which I should have the right to discovery, all of the proof to prove fraud against me and conspiracy.
Is that what your discovery request said? Proof of fraud! I request the proof of the fraud in my discovery.
With lies and deceit at every front and with every man and woman involved in covering this up. Is Ken Hohenberg here today?
He's represented by counsel.
Okay, so
His counsel is here.
Okay, so then everything that counsel said is secondhand information and hearsay, and I respectfully.
He's representing him! That's not hearsay! Come on! That's weak even by sovereign citizen standards. His lawyer is operating on hearsay. Okay.
Motion that this case not be dismissed, as the evidence proves that fraud is happening at a very high degree. The fact that Ken is the chairman of HAPO and is not at one time, after multiple requests, provided this information, or if someone at HAPO provided to me, shows they're hiding something. There's no consideration. Show me the proof under proof of claim, which again breaks banking laws, since proof of consideration is a requirement. Therefore, it is all fraud. And with that said, I yield.
Good job, Kat. That was, you said words, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Spenda. Counsel, I forgot what's your last name? Himes?
Himes, Your Honor.
Himes. Mr. Himes, did you file a proposed order via e-motion or anything? Do you have one?
I believe we filed it via e-motion, Your Honor.
Gillis Filler says, "That's a lot of confidence for someone so wrong," shakes fist at sky. Dunning-Kruger? Disappointed! It's drilling.
I have a bench copy of the motion. Let me see. I don't see a proposed order. Well, the court's going to grant the defendant, Mr. Holmesburg's motion to dismiss, and counsel, Mr. Himes, if you could submit a...
So you're going to just side with the attorney, the bar attorney. This is what...
Oh, she's gonna argue with the judge. That's not a good thing to do.
keeps happening.
If you have a disagreement, you should appeal it. Yelling at the judge, or telling the judge he's incompetent, isn't gonna help your case. He's not gonna undo what he did. He literally can't. Midnight, thanks for 41 months, says, "How does Judge Hannah rule on the motion of, is a taco a sandwich?" Tacos are not a sandwich. It is so ruled. Tacos are tacos. Hot dogs are hot dogs. These are not everything with some sort of bready substance, or wheat, or grain-based holding. Not all a sandwich. If the Earl of Sandwich wouldn't recognize it as a sandwich, not a sandwich. Okay, case dismissed.
It's like the truth doesn't matter. Excuse me, but the truth doesn't seem to matter in the courts.
Mrs. Spenda.
Griffin Doggo, thanks for a 3-stream streak.
Thank you.
Says yes, argue with the judge, yes. You like the drama. I can respect that.
The court's made its ruling, and so...
Is cereal soup? No.
Typical.
Mr. Himes, if you can submit...
I'm not in the robe. I have no authority at this point in time. I'm issuing you sanctions. $100. Payable to the court clerk. That's what you get for not believing in my authority.
In order for the court,
There is no justice in this system. Thank you for exposing yourself.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're happy to submit a proposed order for signature.
Okay.
And what I've been saying all along, here we now have Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch confirming what I have said, and that these people are not, in fact, judges, but they work for the corporation. They always side with the city, the state, the county, the codes.
Is gazpacho a smoothie bowl? Gazpacho is a soup. Soup is a social construct. Then we've determined collectively that gazpacho is a soup and cereal is not. I would like a shirt that says soup is a social construct.
Statutes, but never the people. They go on the side of the people that have bar cards, bar attorneys, bar meaning the British Accreditation Registry.
That's not that. Bar is not it's not an acronym. That's not what that is. Passing the bar has nothing to do with the thing she just said. Bubble Homestead with 100 bits says, I'm watching at about 4 pixels. How much do we have left to next costume month? Let's see, we're at 931.66 right now. So whatever the math on that would be. I don't know math. Something like $69? Something like that? I don't know exactly. Michelle Gladio with 100 bits says, serious answer, no cereal is not soup because when you buy a box of cereal, it's already cereal regardless of whether you add milk to it or not. Is bullion cereal? 46% to level 1 in a hype train. Is ramen soup? Yes, unless you drain out all the broth. Then it's just noodles.
And they steal from us.
68.34. Okay, that's not bad.
And I am dedicated to spending my entire life, if needed, exposing this fraud, and every single man and woman that is abetting in fraud knowingly, because I know there's a lot of people at the banks who don't know this is going on. They think that the bank is actually providing real money in these loan transactions.
They are.
But that is not the case at all. Your home and car and boat or whatever you're taking a loan out for is not the collateral. The collateral is your promissory note. So, hey, at this point, I've been very nice. I've dotted my I's. I have crossed my T's. And the truth doesn't matter.
You didn't even actually file a response. What are you talking about? It's not even that you're not paying attention to the details. You're not getting the broad strokes right.
Matter to them. No matter what you do, they want to say you didn't state a basis for your claim.
No, you didn't state a basis for your claim.
And even if you do, they have every way, all the protections, and they are the ones steering the ship. And until we get off of this ship, which is under maritime law and admiralty law in these Article 3 courts that are the courts of the water, they operate under the law of water.
Does that mean there are other courts that have jurisdiction over land, air, and fire, respectively? Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 3 of the hype train.
In a well of the court, as you pass through the bar to sit where you've got the judge at the top, you've got the two people sitting. It's
Oh boy, if you ever see a graphic like this, that person probably needs help. If someone uses the chart like this unironically, they are gone. Not good. If a family member ever uses a chart like this, get them help. Have an intervention. Not good.
It's a triangle, and this is all done on purpose. It's all by design. In my last show, like Tambourine Borelli said, if people only knew this was done to people on purpose, what's happening is
a pita isn't a sandwich. A pita's a pita. Again, if there is a separate word for it, I would say it's distinct enough to be its own thing. A taco's a taco. A pita's a pita. A wrap is a wrap. Okay? If it has its own name, it's no longer a sandwich, or it's not a sandwich.
Is being done on purpose.
A sub is a sandwich because it comes from submarine sandwich. So it's a sandwich.
To fool you. We will never be free as long as these fake judges and these fake bar attorneys rule in the
So I'm telling you, a hamburger isn't a sandwich? Correct.
courtrooms.
A patty melt's a sandwich.
The people will never
A hamburger is a burger. I would argue it's a different thing. I don't think a burger is a sandwich.
ever win.
I think it shares a common ancestor with sandwiches, but I'd say it's more of another thing. I think it's a burger.
These one-offs, you know.
Is a hoagie a sandwich? Yes.
Why?
A sandwich court with Hannah. Yeah, this is just the stream today. We're just going to figure out what is and is not a sandwich. That's the whole stream. Very entertaining.
Should somebody who's coming in who doesn't have a bar card not have...
I'm just wrong. I have a gavel, Trey. I literally cannot be wrong. How do you think I got this hammer? Rockagam says, I think this is your most controversial take since the poster frames, but you're right about the posters. Of course I'm right about the posters! Put your posters in frames! Posters are not a sandwich, even in a frame. Is a threesome a sandwich? Yes. Twink sandwich. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub.
have a fair shot. The reason is because they work for the corporation and they have to protect.
What's the hamburger? What is a hamburger? It's a burger. What do you mean what's a hamburger? You just said it. It's a burger. It's a hamburger. So a patty melt has its own name, but it's still a sandwich. Melts are a kind of sandwich. A panini is a sandwich. Burgers are not sandwiches. Order in the court.
The corporation, the surety bonds that they take out for themselves.
Minute
only
left on the
protect
hype
people
train.
Within the corporation, not the people. This whole government.
If you pay me enough, I'll tell you anything you want's a sandwich or not. I am open to bribes. Harold Edelman says the attorney bar and the drinking bar actually mean the same thing, barricade, and they're both meant to prevent amateurs from doing the kind of incompetent pro se foolishness we'd enjoy. If I hadn't mentioned food racism and restarted this whole thing, I'd say oops, but I'm hugely entertained. Phyllis Filler says a threesome is a sandwich only if the outer two individuals are bread. Benikagami says hamburger with bread is a sandwich, but you can have hamburger without buns. A hamburger with buns are sandwiches. I don't know if I agree. I don't know.
Government is a big fat sham, and people need to wake up to it. And with monkeypox, mpox, new variants, the
All right, she's getting into other shit now. We can move on. What makes up a sandwich and a burger, and how are they different? This is the what is a chair. No, Jaden! I think the focus of the dish is what makes a difference. A burger, the star of the dish, is the burger. Right? Okay? I think with a sandwich, it's a more of a combination of both the bread and everything between the bread. So there you go. Thank you for the hype train, everyone. Overthought says, the left unites around Kamala, but we're gonna kill each other over what a sandwich is, and a shoe is a foot sandwich. What is that logic? It is what it is. This is my stream. This is my stream. I get to decide what's a sandwich here. Black's Law Dictionary request. Fennikagami, you want me to look up immigrant alien? Can do. Prokagam says, I hate that argument, but I can begin to see your point. There you go. That's good enough. So a burger is a ground meat-based dish between carbs, right? In theory, if you have a burger with buns, I suppose. Let me find alien on here. Sloppy Joe. Is a Sloppy Joe a sandwich? I think a Sloppy Joe's just a Sloppy Joe. Not a sandwich. Alien, a foreign-born person who is not qualified as a citizen of the country, but an alien is a person within the meaning of the Due Process Clause of the U.S. Constitution, the same extent as a citizen. I feel like I'm gonna get punched in the face over this sandwich thing. Is it the presence of a bun? I feel like buns are a specific thing. Buns feel different than bread to me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not wrong. I've never been wrong in my entire life, obviously. Alright, let's check out this video. So Trey says, so if I throw a smashed hot dog between 2 slices of bread, is it a burger? No, that'd be between 2 slices of bread, so I would say that's a sandwich. That's a sandwich, then. Ashley One Up says, is this a sandwich? And then it's the idiot sandwich meme. Yes, it says right there, she's an idiot sandwich, obviously. Benikagami says, all definitions are vibes, as they are all social constructs. This is what metaphysics teaches you. Ship of Theseus. Is the ship of Theseus a sandwich? Tea with Goblin says, Australians have a tradition every election that polling booths have barbecues selling what we call democracy sausages. I've heard of this. Always a sausage, veggie, or meat in a slice of bread, not a roll, always a single slice of bread, usually with fried onions. Now, is a democracy sausage a hot dog or sandwich? I'm gonna call it a hot dog sandwich. Yeah. It's ground meat? Why does the ground meat matter? I don't care if it's a steak, if it's a cold cut, if it's ground meat. I don't care. I don't care. Anyway, here's the Sovereign Citizen video.
Is there an emergency? An emergency?
This one's from Australia. Hold on, let me fix this so it's a little more visible. Go.
Reporter from Gold Coast Rap, just been stopped for a registration license check.
By definition, Oxford Dictionary, a hamburger between buns is a sandwich. All right, I'll defer to Oxford Dictionary.
There you go.
Because that's what makes it a burger, I guess.
What's this?
I think there are multiple qualities that make it a burger. Jaden says if it doesn't matter if it's ground meat or not, how is it different than any other sandwich? I've made people very mad at me today. I have upset so many people. I'm literally getting private messages right now from multiple people in chat on Discord about the sandwich thing. No! Oh, Jaden's calling. Hold on. I'm gonna answer this. I think this is gonna be about the sandwich thing. Okay, you have 1 minute to make your case.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Jaden. If a burger is a ground meat product, right, how is it different from a sloppy joe? How is it different from a hot dog, which is also a ground meat product that is just in a different bun? You are ascribing a kind of etherealness to a solid concept.
Yeah, but like it is arbitrary. It's arbitrary.
You're like, oh, it's just a ghost. Nothing's real. It's all metaphysical. Gravity's not real.
In fairness, someone else brought up metaphysics. I did not. I didn't use the term metaphysics until I read it in someone else's.
You're treating it like it is.
You're treating it like it is. Because it's a loose definition.
Look, everything's a loose definition, right?
Well, there you go. Maybe we learned something. Maybe that's the lesson we learned today, chat, is that everything is a little bit bullshit. Everything's a little bit bullshit.
Hannah, what's a chair?
A chair, No, you're making my point for me. You're making my point for me.
No, you said, I remember because I was in chat, you said that, okay, sorry,
One
I'm
sec. Before
genuinely
I gotta
angry
do
a
some
little
chats real quick. Rakagam says, as punishment for the next costume month, you need to get a Hamburglar costume. I can add it to the costume pool. Benekagami says, I
I'll
tried to
finance
save
it.
you, Hannah. I tried to help. And Terradona with an 80 stream streak says, I love this sandwich stun lock. I'm not stun locked. You're stun locked.
You are stun locked. We're not leaving until we settle the debate. Okay? The sovereign citizens can wait.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay. A sandwich and a burger is the conversation of a square and a rectangle, right? Squares are not rectangles, but rectangles can be squares, or what the other way around, right? I haven't been to like, I think it's the other way around. I haven't been to like high school in fucking over a decade at this point. Oh, not over a decade. I'm not that old. But like, just because there are similarities doesn't mean they're not different. Sure, but there are similarities. They are the same, right? Calling a burger not a sandwich is like calling a stool not a chair.
Is a stool a chair?
A stool is a chair because you sit on it.
But it's a stool.
That's the point. That's the point, is that it's both.
Everything you sit on's a chair? If I sit on the ground, is the ground a chair?
Okay. Yes. Literally yes.
Okay, then it doesn't even matter. Then everything's a sandwich. Then this is a fucking sandwich. Then this orb is a fucking sandwich. Ponder the sandwich.
There is a mathematical theorem that postulates that in a three-dimensional space as we exist in, there is a singular perfect cut across any three-ingredient sandwich. And that can include across the planet, including the planet. So yes, everything is a sandwich. Everything's a bucket, a la the Stanley Parable too.
Well, that's great. I'm glad we resolved this. Everything and nothing is a sandwich. We did it. Schrodinger's sandwich.
Yes, a taco is a hot dog.
Yes.
A Wellington is a corn dog.
Corn dogs are good.
A hot dog.
Is a corn dog a sandwich?
I would say so.
It's on a stick.
It's on a stick, but is a croque madame not a sandwich because you have to eat it with a knife and a fork?
Do you have to? I think I'd probably just pick it up.
I mean, you could, I guess, but then you're getting like bechamel and cheese and egg on your hands.
Is Eggs Benedict a sandwich? It's generally open-faced. But
It's
is
an
it
open-faced sandwich.
Okay.
I would say so. You could make that into a sandwich pretty easy. That's just two English muffins and squish them together.
Okay, I gotta stream. Sovereign Citizen Day. This isn't
All right.
Sandwich Day. All right, thank you for your yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Messy Jaden, everyone. Thanks, Jaden. Titus says, if you had magic that only worked at the beach or the desert, would that make you a sandwich? Unstable Deadbeat says, a stool is a seat, a chair is a seat, a couch is a seat, but they're not all chairs. I think that's fair. Garat says, all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs. Sun Tzu, probably. MH Darkbeast says, Hannah, a hot dog counts as a sandwich. It doesn't matter. It's on a bun. An open-faced sandwich is a sandwich, and it's only on a piece of bread. Phyllis Filler says, tune in tomorrow for Food Fight Friday. All right, we did it. We did it. We did it. It's done. We're done. The sandwich conversation is officially over. It is decreed. We gotta do Sovereign Citizens. Ashley One Up says, we'll come back to this on November 3rd, International Sandwich Day. That sounds fair. We can do that. Puka says, I'm so glad I was here for this. You're welcome. All right, anyway, back to this Sovereign Citizen. Let's restart this. This is an Australian Sovereign Citizen.
Is there an emergency?
Beg your pardon?
An emergency?
From Gold Coast. I've just been stopped for a registration license check.
There you go.
What's this?
You're being served.
Being served?
Yeah, you're being served.
So he got a traffic stop in his Kia, and this cop he is trying to serve. Great, makes sense.
With what?
A document of
Make this unlock its own video.
mine for any unlawful detainment, and starting from the clock now. My name's I go by the name of Grant Warren Hudson. I have a power of attorney over my birth certificate.
Buddy, do you have a driver's license on you?
I do.
Yeah. I'll grab that off here. Is it your vehicle?
It is my vehicle. I own it.
Yeah. Registered to yourself?
Yep.
Yep.
Under
Do you-
UCC law, under international law.
Okay.
I've got all my documentation here. Number one. Now have a look at that. That's my UCC filing number in the US.
What's the rego of your proper rego of your car?
There's a copy of my registration, my insurance, third party and full comprehensive insurance.
What was your surname?
He has insurance, that's good.
Your last name? Sorry.
He is citing the UCC, which is a US law. He's in Australia, and he's citing US law.
I'm power of attorney over Grant Warren Hudson. Here is my notice
That's okay.
to Neil Scales, the director.
Also, I lost 20 viewers over that sandwich conversation, so anyone who enjoyed that, you're welcome.
General, the Department of Transport. There's my registration.
Did you say Warren was your middle name? Yeah. What's your date of birth, Grant?
1957.
She looks confused. Like, of course she's confused, but she looks more confused than, like, an American cop. Maybe this is more common in the States. I would have gained 20 viewers if I was correct. Is that how that works?
So is
Here
the
is
car
my.
registered?
Here is. Yes, it is. It's registered under international law, and there's my copy.
Under the
You can have a look at.
international law?
Yeah, it is the
Is it
registration.
registered with.
Neil Scales, the Department of Transport. Yes. Under my UCC filing number, there's a copy.
He's actually reading it,
I've
too.
been through the same process.
Well, you're driving around with plates that don't belong to the vehicle.
They do belong to me, and they do belong to the vehicle. They're my plates, and under my UCC number, and they're registered and insured.
I see. They're fictitious plates, but I don't know if she understands they're fictitious plates, because again, if this isn't as common in Australia, she might not know what his deal is.
Every part of it is totally lawful. And if you check all your documentation, you'll see it's in order. This isn't registered with Queensland Transport. It's appointing Queensland Transport as judiciary. I own this vehicle. You guys don't own it. It's not under Queensland Transport. It's under international law. This vessel is in dry dock, and it is absolutely clear.
Looks like it's on a public roadway. That's weird.
If you have a look at this is appointing Neil Scales as the judiciary, and this was served upon him, and he has a copy of this.
I don't need that.
Well, you do need this, because this is where it shows you the registration, and there's a registration number.
Do you type all this up yourself?
Pardon?
You type-
My lawyer did all this.
Who's
It's
your lawyer?
totally lawful.
Oh, yeah. Who's your lawyer?
Quentin Smith at Broadbeach Law Group. There's the registration number of the vehicle, UCC 202305231237. Private, vessel and dry
Yeah,
dock,
that's probably 2J's a proxy.
UCC 1-30A.
In fairness, even if she knows the term sovereign citizen, she might not know that this guy is that. She might not connect that with this yet.
And none of that makes...
Doesn't make sense to you, but you need to understand that it is lawful. And insurance company wouldn't insure us if it wasn't, correct? And you got a copy of insurance, and you can contact your superiors and check with them. All my paperwork's in order.
It's not the insurance company's job to check your license plate. Like, you might have insurance on this vehicle, but that doesn't mean you have the proper registration and stuff.
It's not in your system. You guys don't own it. It's private.
They're not claiming to own your vehicle, they just have the authority to pull you over and check registration and check if you have a proper license plate, which you don't.
My birth certificate, me taking ownership over. Turn to me.
Turn to me. Backseat directing.
This is where they get really confused. This is also my power of attorney over my birth certificate, me taking ownership over myself. This is where it gets really interesting. So, if you follow these procedures, if they break any laws from here on out, then they're being unlawful, and that means they're trying to stand over and above me and using coercion, which is also unlawful and against the law if they try to stop me from driving my own vehicle. So now they're going to have to contact their superiors, and this is where it gets confusing for them. So let's see what happens.
He thinks they're going to contact the superiors, and the superiors going to back him up.
Listen, you guys don't own it. It's not owned by you. It's owned by my private organisation.
Yeah, we know it's...
I know where you're coming from, but I've been down this. I've won it in court over and over again, and we just have to keep going down the same path until you guys realise that...
The fact that you keep going into court is kind of indicative to me that your plans aren't working out. Like, if it keeps happening, they say something about, you know, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Not usually a sign of, like, good decision-making.
This is lawful, and what's happening, I know you don't think it is, but all my paperwork's in order. My insurance is there, everything's there. You ring up AAMI, you can check with them.
Oh, you're
my
insured,
vehicle's
you're just
fully
not registered.
comprehensive. No, it's registered. Look,
It's not registered.
this
It's
document,
insured.
I have a receipt of insurance, and I'll show you. Have a look at this document. Shows it's insured with
I know.
Neil Scales, the Department of
We know
Transport.
it's insured, but it's not registered.
No, it's registered. It's registered. You can't see the registration. That doesn't mean...
Kind of defeats the point of a registration if the state can't see it, huh? It needs to be registered with the state. That's what a registration is. He thinks that he can have a registration that's private and through, like, a private trust. You cannot. It needs to be registered with the state.
I mean to say it's registered. It's registered.
Something for us to watch later. Thank you, MH Dark Beast. If this is about sandwiches, then we're gonna have problems. God damn it. Is pizza a sandwich?
Under UCC law with Neil Scales, appointing him as the judiciary. Now, you don't understand that, but if you ring your superiors and check with them, it's still registered, just not on your system because they don't contract with you guys.
When
Now-
you drive a car, as you know, on a Queensland road, you have to register it.
No, you don't. UCC law 1-3.
Again, UCC is an American law.
308 states clearly that you don't have to contract with Queensland Transport if you don't wish. However, you can appoint them as a judiciary. Now, it's not... Do you know if you say you have to register that that's coercion and you're forcing me to contract with another company or organisation, which I don't have to do?
Australia isn't a corporation. Not a contract. It's a legal requirement.
I mean, you don't realise this, but everything's changed since 2020. You know we're currently in martial law.
No.
I own every part of this vehicle. I own the plates, I own the car, and it can't be touched or tampered with. It's my vehicle.
There's a pretty big crossover between anti-vaxxers and sovereign citizens. I would say that this is a complete... Based on what I have seen, between 40 and 60% of sovereign citizens are anti-vaxxers, explicitly. That's just from ones that I know have outright said things about vaccines. It could be higher than that, it could be lower, and maybe I just have a weird sample. I don't know. But it's a pretty big crossover. It's ironically virulent within the community. Jay's a Proxy with a 20-stream streak says, Sobsit stream 2 of me asking you to do a stream over Meads v. Meads. Let me pull it up real quick so I can save something about it so I don't forget this time. Meads. Meads. B. Meads. 2012. Alright. Saved. That way I will make sure I look at it to do something about it. Thank you.
This way gets interesting. Hold it here to me.
At least they're not coming on my side.
Oh no, there's a kid! It's a kid filming! At least it's not American cops, so they probably won't pepper spray the kid.
They're trying to work it out right now because they know that I'm right.
It's hard for them to... It's really easy if they don't come on my side.
Okay. I gotta bail. That's uncomfortable. It was almost done anyway, but especially considering there's a fucking child being forced to participate. Sorry, accidentally opened a different browser. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with that. So let's move on. Oh, this guy's back. Remember the gentleman who showed up in his military uniform and got arrested because he refused to comply? He's back. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick, and then we will watch this. Jaden with the hydrate command will do. Alright, while I'm gone, Chair will tell you about, the Newly Deads. Get it? Slasher movie that takes place at a newlywed resort. The pun. I'll be right back. I'm back. How's it going, everyone? Thanks, Wampa. And I've been so good at not getting a wiki feet page.
You get a
No,
speeding
we're not
ticket.
going to do that, sir. I just need
All I want to know is the fine. Like normally when you get a ticket or a citation, somebody give you.
I've told you that. I've told you that. All right, and that brings us to Mr. Johnson.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. We are on the record in 2024 TR 541, State of Kansas versus.
I'm still under the impression that this guy probably needs a competency evaluation. Like, I don't necessarily know or even think he's necessarily clinically, like, anything's wrong with him, but he clearly doesn't understand what's going on.
Danny Lewis Johnson, County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. Mr. Johnson appearing in person and in custody and pro se. Now, Mr. Johnson, I just saw you, I believe, last week, and I order that you be held for a limited time for contempt of court. And then I understand the military put a hold on you.
That's not good. Puka, thanks for 300 bits.
They were having some problems with you cooperating with picture and prints. Are we past that? Did you get your picture and prints taken?
I did not, ma'am.
Why did you not do that?
Because I didn't feel like it was, I was here for a criminal offense and there was no jurisdiction for me to get fingerprints and photos, ma'am.
All right, well, you understand that you need to do that. You're probably not going to get
I
released
have no idea, Wampa. Sounds not good, though.
until you do that.
Okay.
But in any event, you're also here today on a new case.
Yes, Phoenix, it truly is.
And this is 2024 TR 541. You're charged in count 1 with operating a vehicle while displaying an expired or improper license plate on August 13th of 2024. So apparently before you went into custody, the officers saw you driving, and they may even have that on video if you did it around the courthouse. But in any event, that is a misdemeanor. It's called an unclassified misdemeanor. It carries a fine up to $2,500. It carries a sentence of 30 days up to 6 months. Then in count 2, they're saying that you hadn't registered the car. So you were driving without a legal registration. That also is an unclassified misdemeanor is charged. Another $2,500 possible fine and another possible 30 days to 6 months in jail. Now, Mr. Johnson, I can give you a bond on this, but it looks like you want to just keep sitting there because you can't make bond if you won't.
Your Honor, it is my intent. First of all, I'm not here to frustrate or to I'm not here to frustrate or to disrupt your court or to make anything. Just simply understand. That's all I wanted to understand. As far as the plea, as far as the charge of misdemeanor, I'm trying to understand if that's a criminal or civil offense, but I don't want to get into that today.
Criminal. It's a misdemeanor. It's a criminal offense.
So it is my regard to ask you, Your Honor, and request in regard to the 8th Amendment that Greenwood Court discharge or administrate a fair fine according to the historical data or registration violation in this county. That's all I ask for now. At this point, I don't want to get into whether it's criminal or whether it's whatever. But according to the 8th Amendment, I just want a fair fine, as if anybody who was driving the vehicle, given I was not driving my vehicle, of course, you held me in contempt. They brought me up and arrested me in contempt. So I don't know how they got me for operating a vehicle.
Well, they apparently saw you do it on your way into court.
Well, that's I'm not. What I'm saying is it's a burden of proof on the state for that.
Right.
So he drove to court when he wasn't supposed to? Why do they do this? I've seen other people do this too. Their driver's license is suspended and they drive to court. They are paying attention. They'll notice that. It's just not a good idea. Even if you parked a couple blocks away and walked the rest of the way, it would be better than literally driving to the court parking lot or parking in front of the courthouse on a suspended license or whatever. They're gonna notice.
I'm not gonna say they saw me. I don't know what they saw, but right. far as I can notice, when you held me in contempt, they went out and searched my car, which was a violation of my Fourth Amendment right. They never issued me a search warrant. They never told me my vehicle was suspected in a crime investigation or any kind of criminal intent or doing anything. So
They may have been inventorying it for impound because it was on court property and you were arrested, so they probably took it in and impounded it. That's a guess. I don't know.
Car was searched. So when they searched my car, I have multiple witnesses that saw it. When they searched my car, they pulled everything out of my car. And I guess when they didn't find it, then the violation come. I would never issue a citation for the violation. I was just put on lockdown for the last 7 days.
No, this isn't the crying guy. This guy was in uniform, but no, that was the guy who cried was in a blue suit.
As I understand it, you were put on lockdown because you wouldn't go through booking and processing. They couldn't get you entered into their system.
No,
you refused to get your fingerprints and you refused to get your photograph, and rather than manhandle you and wrestle you and get you to take your pictures and prints, they had to just put you somewhere safe until you would cooperate. But
that wasn't
what I've heard. I don't know that for a fact.
Well, if you look at the video, that is inaccurate. When I came in, I was told I was going to be.
Okay, sir. We'll talk about that just a little bit. Do you need an attorney to represent you on these charges?
I do not. I just want to, like I asked, I'm just requesting that in regards to the 8th Amendment, the Greenwood Court discharge.
Well, that is not going to be addressed today. Today, I need to know if you want an attorney. You're waiving your right to an attorney. You don't want to hire an attorney. You don't want to apply for court appointed?
So what are the fines, Your Honor?
Well, as I said, each one of these counts carries a maximum possible fine.
He does not, it seems like he doesn't understand that there is, even though she has said this multiple times, he doesn't understand that this is not just a matter of paying a fine. This is a misdemeanor charge. These are misdemeanor charges that have the potential to carry prison time or jail time. I don't know, I think she set up as 6 months, so that would be jail, not prison. But that's not insignificant! So he needs to listen!
Up to $2,500.
Okay.
And each one of them carries a possible jail sentence of 30 days to 6 months, although probation is often an option.
Well, I would rather for you to just issue me a fine today. If you issue me a fine, I'll pay the fine.
Well, I cannot guarantee you what your sentence will be. That would be inappropriate to try to give you to negotiate with you and give you a fine before or if you're convicted. Now, maybe if you waived your right to counsel and you wanted to proceed today, I don't know if Ms. Gillette would tell you what her recommendations would be. I'm not bound as a judge to follow the recommendations, but again, typically I do, but I don't have to. Or you can get an attorney that can represent your rights and can help you file these motions or help you weigh your defense and decide how you want to proceed.
Well, all I'm asking you, Your Honor, if you get pulled over and you get a speeding ticket.
No, we're not going to do that, sir. I just need
all I want to know is the fine. Like normally when you get a ticket or a citation, somebody give you.
I've told you that. I've told you that.
This is frustrating. This sucks.
Okay.
Like, he literally doesn't even understand what he's being charged with, clearly. Like, he doesn't understand that jail is on the table, so I don't think it really seems like he needs an evaluation or needs to have a lawyer appointed for him, whether he likes it or not, which you can do under circumstances where someone is incapable of defending themselves because they don't know what's going on, and this seems to be one of those cases.
So which way do you want to go on that? Do you want an attorney or not?
I do not.
Okay. Do you want to sign a written waiver of attorney?
No, I do not.
All right, but for the record, you do not want an attorney.
I do not.
And no one's making you give up your right to an attorney?
No.
And you understand that you could apply for court appointed if you cannot afford an attorney?
I do not want an attorney. I understand. Okay. I do not want an attorney.
All right, I will show on the record, both in the docket note and journal entries, that you do not want an attorney. You've given up any right to an attorney. You intend to represent yourself on these charges, is that right?
Possibly, yes.
And you were here last week on speeding 82 and a 65 and
Yeah, this guy legit just bought into this stuff. He's not being in bad faith. He just genuinely doesn't get what's going on.
no insurance. Are you waiving your right to an attorney on those charges in 2024 TR 22 as well?
No, I'll answer that when I go to court on the 27th.
You plead in a... That's not how this works.
I think you scheduled a court hearing for the 27th.
I did, and I am going to set this case today on the 27th at 9 a.m. as well. So both cases will be set September 27th, 2024 at 9 a.m. You've waived your right to attorney, at least on this case. I'd have to review the record to see if you did last week or not. But like you said, we can revisit that at your next court date. Ms. Gillette, in all of that confusion last week, did we set a bond in the other case? You can check those. If you don't have that handy, I can check the record.
Judge, he had a warrant for failure to appear for $1,000 cash surety. So he actually had
I paid the $1,000.
Sure.
a cash of $1,000. It is a cash bond that the court is holding of $1,000.
All right. Okay. So that charge, you're free to go anytime you want to, as long as you go through the booking process. You've already, I would consider, even though the jail doesn't show you as being processed because you refuse to cooperate with the processing, which means fingerprints, pictures, signing a bond, I would consider you having satisfied your contempt. I think you've served enough time, far more than I intended for you to. It's been a week now, but you're going to have to go through the booking process. And then I don't know what the military's intention is, but I understand, is it your understanding they have a hold on you, sir?
They always put a hold on, anytime a soldier get picked up, they put a hold for pickup.
Okay. So, and I don't know if they'll go along with, I don't know if it's a game you're playing or what you're doing, where you think that you won't have to respond if you won't be booked.
I don't understand how she doesn't see that this is not a sovereign citizen who thinks he's gaming the system. This is a sovereign citizen that does not understand the system or what he's being charged with or why. It's kind of shocking to me that she really doesn't see the difference here. And I've seen many sovereign citizens, and I imagine she has too. Does she think they're all in bad faith? Because that's a scary thought. Because no, they're not all fucking around. A decent number are true believers who have been scammed, who need help.
But at some point,
I'll be here, Your Honor. I mean, even for the 13, I had to let my command know that I had a court hearing, and I showed up. I'm not a person that want to run from the law. I ain't got time to be running. I face whatever before me, and that's just who I am.
all right.
So I have no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
I have no intent of trying to hide from this challenge, because all it is a challenge. You know,
Sure.
I didn't see it going to this extent as being registration violation. If you're gonna give me a registration violation, give me a fine, then I pay the fine, and I'm okay with that. And I had to deal with that from a different aspect. But at the same time, it's just like they gave me a fine for speeding. You gave me a fine to pay, I was gonna pay the fine and just let it be. But at the same time, it's like, okay, now I got a registration with violation. Give me the fine. Give me the fine, I pay the fine. The military picked me up, I deal with that. They done towed my car. So I really need to get out of here, Detroit, because if I don't get out of here, they're gonna sell my car.
Well,
He doesn't. Again, he clearly doesn't get this.
you go and get your picture and prints taken, sign your
My opinion on Hitch, the Will Smith movie, I haven't seen it since like 2005. Probably not good. Not a Kevin Smith fan, or really a Will Smith fan either.
new bond, and you can go on my counts, on my charges. Now, I don't know, you're still gonna have to deal with.
Well, I know if you release me, the military are going to pick me up. I understand that.
And are you not wanting to be picked up? Is that why you're refusing?
No. That's the only way I'm going to get out of here.
All right.
No, I'm not running for nobody.
All right, then you get in there and let that officer get your picture and prints taken.
Not gonna.
I'm gonna order that you do that, and if you don't, then we're gonna have to do more.
I ain't got no, if you saying I could leave, fingerprint, and that's what I asked them last week. Would I be able to leave if I give y'all fingerprints and photos?
Okay, so
they told me no.
Because you've got that military hold.
And I was fine with that, but I was asking about that, Your Honor. I'm not trying to drag this along, but I asked them about that. Is the military going to be allowed to come pick me up? And they told me, no, I won't be able to leave until I come before you. So
I wait. Take care of your charges here before you go. That's
okay.
All right.
I will allow them to fingerprint me and take a photo. And if you saying I could be released.
On both cases. Well, you've served your contempt, and that's what I sent you into jail for. Now I'll give you a bond, and you're going to have to post the bond in the new case. Ms. Gillette, any recommendations on that bond? 2 counts of registration.
Judge, they're both unclassified misdemeanors. He's also got some other potential charges for the disruption in court that I am reviewing. And that's the other issue that I've got.
Okay, so there may be another issue, Mr. Johnson, but I'm going to set it at a $500 bond. You can either post cash or work with a bondsman.
I got cash. If I could put it on my card, I got cash.
All right, I don't know what the rules and procedures are, but $500 cash bond, it's 2 counts of registration. I think that's appropriate. And then if you make those 2 bonds and there aren't any other charges against you through Greenwood County, then I will see you in court on the 27th.
Well, ma'am, how would what I don't want to happen is I go out here and post, and then all of a sudden there's another charge. Then I'm stuck here for another 7 days to see you. So I just want to give y'all what y'all need so I can get out of here and have my day in court. That's all I want.
Well, I think an attorney could help you immensely accomplish your goals, but you don't want an attorney to help you, so.
No.
All right. Well,
I just, like I said, I'm okay with doing the fingerprints, doing the photos, paying the $500 bond, and being released to the military.
Okay.
And I guess at that point, I'll see you again on the 27th.
Right. Yeah, I just don't want the military to take you away from me, though, and not let me get you back for a while. That wouldn't be any good, but that's what I told you.
They're not
That's
going to
what
do
I
that.
told you to, and that's what I'm sticking to. But now I can't tell you, if Ms. Gillette has a job to do, and if she has other violations and she charges them, I can't help that. I'll have to call you back in on new charges. But that's what I'm telling you right now concerning the 2 cases I've seen you on.
Okay.
All right. Anything further, Ms. Gillette?
Not right now.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Johnson?
No, just want to get out of here and go handle my other affairs that I got.
Understood. All right. Thank you, sir. We're in recess as you are being remanded back to the custody of the sheriff. Thank you so much.
Your Honor, what was that first case number besides the?
You're welcome.
I hope he gets some help, because he really needs it. MH Darkbeast says, here's a cleanse and apology for the sandwich discourse. Guess who's embraced AI? Oh no! Cool Cat! Oh god!
Big orange cool cat loves to chat. Loves kids and saying ABC. Dancing around, oh, jumping high. Everyone just wants to say hi. Daddy Derek loves him so. Mama cat, proud to show. Happy times, oh, we will have. With cool cat, a big old laugh. Happy cool cat loves the town. Orange cool cat likes to see kids so happy, full of glee. Daddy Derek, oh he knows fun and love, it always grows. Daddy Derek loves him so. Mama cat, proud to show. Happy times, oh we will have. With cool cat, a big ol' laugh. Happy.
What's the microphone on screen for? Verisimilitude!
Cool cat loves the fun, dancing, laughing in the sun. ABC, now let's all sing. Joy and laughter it will bring. All the kids dance around, loves the fun. Dancing, laughing
He's not even singing. Don't worry about it. Maybe that's his voice now.
in the sun. ABC, now let's all sing. Joy and laughter it will bring.
Why is he looking at a phone? Kids love phones. It's relatable. Is that a cleanse? I don't know if I agree. Okay, let's see what else we have. Oh boy! It's one of the people who think zip codes are a scam.
Voluntary. You should. The zip code scam use of the zip is voluntary. You should also know that the Postal Service cannot discriminate against the non-use of the zip code.
You need to put the zip code on your letters and packages. That's a requirement.
The federal government utilizes the zip code to prove that you reside in a federal district of the District of Columbia. This is why.
No, it's literally just to identify, like, a place. It's just to help get things into the correct places.
Why the IRS and other government agencies require a zip code when they assert jurisdiction by sending you a letter. They claim that this speeds the mail, but this is a sly and subtle trick. It is also
it's not a trick. It literally just makes the enormous task of sending mail all over the country much easier.
so prima facie evidence that you are a subject of Congress and a citizen of the District of Columbia who is a resident in one of the several states.
It is an AI voice, or some sort of generated voice.
The receipt of mail with a zip code is one of the requirements for the IRS to have jurisdiction to send you notices. The government cannot bill a citizen of Texas because he is not within the purview of the municipal laws of the District of Columbia. In fact, the Internal Revenue Service has adopted the zip code areas as internal revenue districts.
Carol Doubleman says, I, on the other hand, apologize for nothing from the Library of Congress. Oh god, as a matter of law, is a taco a sandwich? I actually remember this. This was a little bit ago. They ruled that the taco was a sandwich. I'm not going to read this whole thing. But I did hear about this. They ruled that tacos counted as sandwiches in this case. So, another loss for the Supreme Court. Get fucked, Supreme Court. Sorry, I don't think that was the Supreme Court. It was some court, though. This fascist court system telling us that tacos are sandwiches. How about this guy?
Alright guys, so I was economically terrorized today by the...
What legal ramifications did that have? It was a thing where the zoning for this particular place only allowed restaurants that served sandwiches or sandwich-like things. So they were trying to say, this taco stand shouldn't count. And the judge was like, nah, tacos are sandwiches, that's fine. Stone Corbell says, this has to be just another issue with people not understanding how big the world is. How are you supposed to determine which Smith Drive to send something to without a zip code? Names get reused so many times and there are probably hundreds of thousands of street names in the US. Yeah, they just think everything's nefarious. Scale is hard for a lot of people.
Alright guys, so I was economically terrorized today by the fine gentlemen at, Minnesota, what are they called? Highway Patrol, Road Pirates, that's what they're called, that's right. So, I was doing nothing wrong, okay? I don't need a license to exercise a right, as
so you were driving without a license.
Most of you know. However, there was a pretty clear felony stop on one side of the road. I was on the highway, and there was a felony stop on the right-hand side, obviously. And so I moved over to the left, got around it, moved back over to the right. As soon as I did, the guys, the cops all started pulling out, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, this is great, just great," you know. I knew what was coming of it, and so as I did, one of the guys in an SUV pulled up next to me. I was going about 60. I was doing the speed limit, and so he got up beside me and then dropped back and then pulled back.
The food groups are sandwiches, soups, steaks, lasagna, plants, and rice. I do like lasagna, so I accept. Fine.
Back up.
I like that plants and rice are separate.
Dropped back, and I knew what was up. I knew exactly what was up. He pulled behind me and put on his rollers. And I'm not a big fan of cops, as I'm sure you know.
If I take a pizza and I fold it in half, is it a taco?
Reason not to be. I don't think they've ever helped me. I've called maybe twice, and both times I have been the one that has gone to jail for nothing. Having a plant, it's insane.
I agree that weed shouldn't be illegal. I think it's a waste of time and fucked up that it is. But, like, it is illegal in many places, so you kind of just got to deal with that.
So, immediately, I'm just sweating because I don't have AC in my car because I'm a broke bitch. And I'm starting to shake because I don't like guys with guns approaching me, trying to terrorize me for doing nothing, for committing no crimes, for offending nobody, for doing nothing other than driving my children to school, transporting my children to school, I should say. And so he's like, "Step out of the car. I'm going to have you do some tests." He didn't ask if I'd be willing to, and that's a problem, okay? Because those are always voluntary. You don't have to go through that fucking clown show that are field sobriety tests. It is nothing but a humiliation ritual, and you stand nothing to gain.
A humiliation ritual? Wow, we're getting into some, like, QAnon.
From them. And so I was grateful because an older cop pulled up. The guy that pulled me over was like maybe 26, maybe. And so an older cop pulled up in a regular...
Tater tot casserole's fucking delicious. Unironically, tater tot casserole's one of my favorite fucking dishes.
Cop car. And he got out and he had one of those...
The Midwestern delicacy.
Skin-colored sleeves on, so I knew he's had ink done. Short guy.
For those that aren't familiar, it's basically tater tots, ground beef, some kind of soup in it, like a cream of mushroom or a cream of chicken soup, all up in there, and some seasoning, cheese, sometimes some peas or carrots or some other kind of thing, more tater tots and cheese. And then you bake that bitch.
Bald guy, me, only fat. And so I said, "Sir, I'm just trying to drive my children."
You can call it lasagna if you want, as long as I get to eat it.
Cool, I do not do drugs.
I prefer cream of chicken soup in it, but, like, I get it if you like cream of mushroom, that's fine.
Is this a voluntary test? Am I required to take this test? And the younger cop, he kept saying, yeah, you need to take it. I need to make sure that you are
not awful, it's delicious.
Drive. And I said, "Sir, you know I'm safe to drive. I'm terrified right now. I have my children in my car, and you're asking me to get out. You have a gun. I don't. I haven't done anything wrong." And so,
I mean, if you're driving high with your kids in the car, that's not cool. Driving high in general, not cool.
So, I saw the older cop give the younger guy a look.
Shiba Hawk Game says, I'd never heard of tater tot casserole till I moved to Minnesota. Now I'm a fan. Good.
And the younger guy...
I'm just a cooking show now. We don't do any cooking. We're just a show where we talk about food in the stupidest way. I'm very hungry now. All of this talking about food is making me hungry.
I said to me,
I want a tater tot casserole. Someone make me a tater tot casserole. Chiba Hawk Games, thanks for following also.
Get back in your car and
Missouri, sorry.
Put your seatbelt on. And he said, you're going to have to call for a ride. And so I said,
right. Minnesota's MN, sorry.
Am I going to be able to go with my children? Implying, am I going to go to jail? And
Halloween Town, we'll fix you. We'll make you a nice tater tot casserole.
Sorry, I had to check my mileage here. And so I did. He said, no, you're going to go with your kids. And so I got back in my car, and he comes back like 10 seconds later, prints out a ticket, you know, economically terrorizes an impoverished American. Thank you, sir. And then he says, you know, I could have towed your car. I'm doing you a favor. I'm doing you a favor by only charging you $200. $200, which would normally go to feed my children. But I'm doing you a favor, not towing your car. And so I said, you know, thanks. And he said, and mind you, the guy's telling me to get my children, my 4 and 6-year-old, out of my car on an interstate while people are going 80 miles an hour in the name of public safety. That's how I know for a fact they are not at all concerned about public safety. He wanted what amounts to barely even over being a toddler to get out on a highway. How dare
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
you?
The cop being an asshole or dumb, though, doesn't mean you can drive without a license.
How dare you? And so, you know what? I fucking didn't. Because I'm not going to do that. And the ironic part is, before he left, he's like, you should probably think about getting your kids some better seats. Oh, well, thanks, man. I'm glad I got you to worry about what kind of seats my children aren't going to be sitting in while they're walking down the fucking highway. So I got back into my car and drove away. And I took the first exit, and I think he knew what I was going to do. Because right at the end of an exit was the older cop. And so
You're right, he's not wearing a seatbelt right now. That's not great.
Pulled over, and it was slow enough, and there were few enough cars that I got the kids out, and I started walking on the side of the road, got their backpacks out and everything. And I walk up next to his car, and the dude says, he rolls down his window, and he says, hey, come here for a second, guys. And I said, okay, and I squatted down by his window. And he said, what's your plan? And I wish I could give his name because he was such a kind soul. And I love people like you. I love you. Like, literally, from my heart, you are what this world needs. He said, what's your plan? And I said, I don't know. I don't have one. I got to get my children to school. I don't have money for a lift. And he said, well, I can't tell you what to do, but I could tell you right now that if it was me and my kids, I'd get the fuck in my car and I'd drive them to school. And dude, I lost a couple of tears right then and there. I shit you not. I said, thank you. Thank you so much. And he said, you know, these younger guys, they're trained to hate the people. They're trained to be afraid of everybody. And I said, yeah, that's not right, man. It's you gotta manage the discrepancy between the spirit of the law and the color of the law. And that's what those young cops can't do. All they care about is getting their commendation, and they don't care if it comes on the back of a broken family. They don't care. And so I said, sir, can I shake your hand? I've never shaken a cop's hand in my life before. I probably will never either.
Was he high at the time or not? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, but who knows? All right, let's move on.
Law applies to man, woman, people. Statute, code, ordinance applies to persons, citizens, corporations, etc. Not man, woman, or people. Now, for any jackasses out there who would say that...
Uh-oh, he's got to be right, everyone. People who disagree, he called jackasses.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Try it yourself. Pull up any statute, code, or ordinance and read them. And you show me where it says, shall be unlawful for any man or woman to do this or do that or ingest.
There are many laws that use the term man. In fact, this has actually been a discussion in legal discourse to try and make the language more gender neutral, because historically laws were written that just said any man or men. Of course, it applies to women as well and non-binary people or whatever else. But historically, a lot of laws have been written with the masculine pronoun, masculine pronouns in mind. So that's just wrong. That's just untrue.
This or ingest that. It always says persons or citizens or corporations, something to that effect. It will.
Yes, you're a person.
Never say man or woman, because man and woman are not persons.
They are.
You have a persona, which is your name. You have a public persona and a private persona.
You do not.
Okay? No statute, code, or ordinance will say it shall be unlawful for any man or woman to do such and such.
Again, no, many do. Newer ones tend to use gender-neutral language.
It's always persons. And if you still think I'm incorrect, I did not make up the definition of a person. Look at the law.
At least he has a more recent edition. That's an 11th edition. I think they're on 12 now, but that's pretty close. Normally they go from 3rd edition.
Dictionary, the definition of person. There is no man or woman on this earth defined as a person. And if you still think that I'm wrong,
hey, Lord Rex,
ask yourself this. Can you sue someone for violating a statute or code? No. Statutes, codes, ordinances are copyrighted by the court.
You can absolutely sue people for violating civil code. Yeah.
Corporation. Okay, that would be copyright infringement. You can sue someone if they
unironically, they believe that Jay's a proxy. I've heard some of them say that.
Steal your property. You can sue them for relief for damages, restitution, okay? But you cannot sue them for violating a statute or a code. Only the corporation can enforce statute and code.
Only the state can enforce criminal action, but you can do civil stuff, yes. Yeah? That's not a Sovsit thing. That's not for the reason he's claiming.
Assaults you. The cops say, do you want to press charges? You say yes. All you do is sign a complaint, okay? The prosecutor presses the charges and prosecutes the case, okay? You don't press charges, they do, because they're the only ones that can use the statute or code that has been violated. Murder has been codified. Title 18 United States Code 1111. Why codify murder? It is universal law that murder is unlawful. Why is it necessary to codify it? Because the corporation can only deal with statutes and codes that they have in place. The corporation cannot deal with the common law. It's a corporation. If you sue someone for theft or assault, then you are prosecuting them, not the corporation. That's the common law.
Wow, there was a lot wrong in that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he is a sovereign citizen. Sovereign Citizen Watch, for those that don't know, Lord Rex is a new person who showed up the other day. Welcome back, by the way. Good to see you again. We look at sovereign citizens and the strange things they believe and the strange things they say. So yeah, that guy's a sovereign citizen. Try this one.
That's on screen.
And you did not want his services, is that correct, sir?
That is correct. I do not want a
Okay.
contract with Mr. Waverly.
Daniel James Williams?
Yeah, I'm here on special appearance.
Okay, do you know, now special appearance means what? Because I need to have the actual person present.
They think that by claiming their appearance is special appearance, that they are not bowing to the authority of the court, and therefore the court doesn't have jurisdiction over them. Not true, not how jurisdiction works, but it's what they believe.
You need to have the actual person present.
Yes.
Person
So are you Daniel
like
James Williams?
I'm not a person if you asking if I'm a person, like a legal fiction, no.
Okay.
This kid's young. He got fooled into this.
So the only person that I can have on this hearing for this person is Daniel James D'Angelo Williams. Are you that person?
Am I that person? No.
Okay. So if
Is
you
this on
know
the
them,
record?
tell them that they're going to get a show cause. No, I'm going to call it on the record, but I need the actual person because I can't communicate with just anybody. I have to communicate with this person. Did you talk to them, Attorney Werberlin?
Yeah,
Did you
for the
talk to a Dane?
so for the record, Your Honor, or
Okay, let me call it then. I'll call it.
well, yeah.
You talk. Okay. Now calling the matter of the people versus Daniel James D'Angelo Williams. This is ticket number SP 1585809. Count 1, failed to display a valid operator's license. Count 2, no insurance misdemeanor. Count 3, 26 to 30 miles over posted speed.
26 to 30 miles over the speed? That's reckless.
Appearances for the record, starting with counsel, please.
And good morning, Your Honor. Ben Werbling, P64889 on behalf of Daniel James Williams. Judge, I did attempt to talk with the individual that's on screen. He indicated that he wanted to proceed in pro per or pro se, if you will. He declined my legal services at this time.
All right. All right, sir, can you state your name for the record?
For the record, the living man, Daniel Williams.
I missed the living man. Sorry, I have to use the bathroom again. Real quick, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Chair will tell you about, Chair will tell you about Joan Crawford and I Saw What You Did, and I Know Who You Are, which is a William Castle film. I love William Castle. Be right back.
Enough for me? I'll take the living man. Okay, all right. This is the date and time set in this particular matter for a, what's it called? Let me see where we at. Oh, it's a pretrial. In this particular matter, sir, what that means is that you're here today because it's been alleged that you have some tickets before my court. It's my understanding that Attorney Werberling tried to communicate with you and you did not want his services. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct. I do not want to
Okay.
contract with Mr. Waverly.
Okay. All right. So, you have the absolute right to have an attorney. 2 of these tickets are misdemeanors. And that means that some constitutional rights kick into play because I can take away civil liberties such as up to 90 days in jail, as well as up to a $500 fine. You understand that, sir?
That's fine.
Okay. And so
That's fine.
at this point in time,
Is it fine?
How do you wish to proceed? The 3 options are typically you can ask for some more time so that you can come into compliance. That's called a new pretrial date. You can ask for a bench trial date. That's a trial date before myself as the trier and finder of facts. The officers who wrote this ticket will have to appear in court as well on that date. You can also ask for a jury trial. That's a trial before 6 citizens of the city of Detroit who would come down here and have to decide on this matter. Or I guess it's 4 options because you can also take a plea. I think count 3 is not in the system because they had to return the ticket. So it's really just 2 misdemeanors that should be appearing on the docket for today.
Oh, sorry, I missed. There was a tip earlier I missed too. I apologize. It was from Bumble Homestead, who did a $5 tip that said, the sandwich taxonomy reminds me of the beaver equals fish thing because it lives in water and we must find a way to weasel out of God's rules. Yeah, for those that don't know, for a time, beavers were considered fish. You could eat them during Lent.
Check and make sure. That's my ticket.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but all this sound like you're saying like go to court, and I'll go to court if appearing in person. That sounds fine.
No, we are in court.
I don't know if the ear's broken or if it's just supposed to flop down like this, because I've seen like dog ear and cat ear or dog ear things that do flop, so I don't know if that's just intentional or what.
Right now. So my question is, how do you want to proceed? What do you want to do? What's the next step? Do you want to have a new date so you can try and come into compliance, meaning that you want to get some of these documents?
No, the other one doesn't flop, but I've seen ones that do that where only one does, so I don't know.
Documents like
because it doesn't feel like it's broken or anything. Like, it doesn't feel like anything's wrong. It might just be like that.
Some car insurance. Do you want to take a plea today? There's usually an offer that's given to folks if they want to take advantage of that and take some type of resolution in this particular matter. Or you can ask for a bench trial before myself or a jury trial.
I'm trying to figure out what jurisdiction is this court being upheld in?
It's in Detroit, Michigan. That's located in the state of Michigan, the United States of America.
No. What I mean is this court in a common law jurisdiction or a criminal jurisdiction, admiralty law, but
definitely criminal. So this is a criminal matter. It's criminal misdemeanors for traffic matters.
Okay.
So that's why I told you those constitutional rights, because criminal law kicks in.
Okay, and under the criminal law, the jurisdiction of common law, it has common law and it has criminal jurisdiction, admiralty of the military tribunal, review from.
Ooh, that was a word salad. I gotta go back and hear that.
The jurisdiction of common law, it has common law and it has criminal jurisdiction, admiralty of the military tribunal, review from Article 1. So I'm trying to figure out, are we under common law or the criminal jurisdiction of admiralty and military tribunal review from Article 1?
Neither. We're under criminal law in the city of Detroit, state of Michigan. That is given.
He's looking at a sheet from the internet to see what he's supposed to say because he doesn't know the script, and the script doesn't expect this to happen because the script is sold by grifters.
Power by the state of Michigan through the U.S. Constitution, as it gives powers to each state to make laws and jurisdiction and rules. And each community within that state is allowed to do so as long as it's within its powers.
Exactly. And I'm a living person, not an entity on document. I'm not.
I'm not an entity in document.
Where are this kid's parents?
Me neither. I'm a living person as well. And living people get in vehicles and they drive them and they get tickets. So that's what we're here for today. How would you like to move forward, Mr. Williams? I don't have that much additional time today for it. However, I'm giving you some options so that you can be able to choose which one you want to do today. And if you don't want to participate at all, what I'll do is I'll enter a show cause. A show cause means it's a hearing where you fail to participate in my court hearing. And then if you fail to participate in the next date, then I'll issue a warrant. It's a zero bond warrant, but it'll be a warrant out there until you want to at least choose one of these avenues. It's been allegations just at this point in time that you violated some of the laws that are followed by the citizens of the city of Detroit, county of Wayne, state of Michigan, as a part of the United States of America. It's been alleged at this point in time. So all I'm trying to do is figure out how you want to proceed today. You need some more time. You want to try and get in compliance and get that license together? I don't mind. I give time for that.
Well, I have the serial QSIB number to my license and the serial QSIB contract to my insurance as well, and it's both valid. However, they're both private. They're inside of a trust. I live privately, so I don't have to show the policy enforcers my private insurance nor my ID when they pull me over from traveling.
You do have to show them your ID and registration and insurance upon request at a traffic stop.
Privately in my automobile.
The judge is bending over backwards for this kid? Good. He's a kid. He's being dumb. If kids went to jail every time they were dumb, oh boy, we need a lot more jails.
Do you have a valid license?
Like, I get it's one thing if you're dealing with, like, someone who's a full-ass adult. This kid is doing dumb shit.
I have identification to prove that I'm able to operate this automobile in my estate.
If you drove on Hubbo and Eaton, that's in the city of Detroit, and that is not private property. That is very much a public road. That is a public road that is paid for by the citizens. That is paid.
Arguing with the judge again. Where are this kid's parents? This is so dumb.
Paid for by the citizens like myself who pay hefty taxes to everybody to be able to allow them to ride on those roads within the city and the state of Michigan. So if I run your license, is it going to come back valid? Because if it is, we can actually dismiss that ticket. And if you have car insurance and you show it to me today, I can actually dismiss that ticket as well. Do you got some car insurance?
Yes, ma'am. I have a ongoing serial number with.
Let me see it. It has to be like usually they give you a little form. I know I have to print mine out from mine.
I have paid for mine with FRNs online, so I only have the online document, and I have it in my Apple ID, so I could take a picture on this.
Can you I'm gonna send you my email address. If you could send it to my email address, that take care of two of the tickets actually. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna send you the email address.
I also have another question.
Chitara says he really is like some mage who thinks he brought an esoteric tome from a street vendor who guaranteed him that it would make him a master wizard.
And settling.
Yeah, it happens to the best of them.
In the subject matter.
Go ahead.
After the case get dismissed.
But sometimes you buy magic beans and they're real, so shoot your no, I'm joking.
It's with prejudice or without?
If you have the documents, I'm willing to do it with prejudice today. If you have these, you see what I just sent you? Send me the insurance. We do it without prejudice, but they're not gonna refile it. You better have a valid license. His license is valid. Send me the other one. The only one that did appear on the docket is the speeding ticket. Let me see what I can do about that. That's the only one you might have to dispute.
Could be midnight. Could be.
But speeding isn't a crime. It has to be an injured party. And
speeding isn't a crime. Literally, a lot of the times if it's low enough speeding, it isn't a crime. It is an infraction, and you'll get a ticket or something. Literally, though, you sped to the extent that it is a crime. It is a criminal misdemeanor. So it's funny when they say, oh, this isn't a crime. Sometimes they're technically correct in the sense that it's illegal, but it's not a criminal thing. It's like a traffic code, or it's like, you know, some other kind of law, a civil infraction or something. This one is criminal, sir. This is a criminal thing. Yeah, not good. He was between 26 and 30, so it's a misdemeanor, luckily. Benikagami says, speaking of dumb, I saw a MAGA chud share a clip of Kamala saying that 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid in what I assume was an argument that the voting age should be 25. What they fail to realize is stupid people should have the right to vote. That's why no one on the left advocates to take the right to vote from conservatives. Yeah.
And it has to be presented, and the injured party has to be having
No.
all
You talking about civil law. That's not civil law. This is like a civil infraction imposed by the state of Michigan. And the injured party is all the citizens, essentially. If you want to go that route, because we could.
No. Rex, he's trying to claim that you need an injured party in order to have yourself charged with a crime. This is sort of a bastardization of the understanding of corpus delicti, which is like the body of the evidence or something like that. Generally, in some sort of criminal action, you need to prove that there was a crime. This is known as corpus delicti, evidence that a crime happened. Sovereign citizens have twisted this to mean that you need a literal victim to make a statement in order for there to be proof of a crime. They're incorrect. Gitara says, the injured party is me, technically. That's my city he's endangering. There you go.
Potentially be injured by your conduct and your behavior on the roadway.
But that, I hear what you're saying. You said the word potentially. Potentially. That's what you're saying. And then the state, somebody will have to present me a statement where
it's potentially because you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. That doesn't mean it's likely you didn't do it, but that is how the process works.
Party is injured. They will have to present me a statement.
Well, we can always do a hearing on that ticket, but if you send me your car insurance right now to the email address I sent it to, then I can dismiss those 2 counts because you got a valid license. And if you got valid insurance, did I send it to the right person? Or I put it in the chat for everyone? I'm gonna send it directly to you, Mr. Williams, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because if you can send me this, okay.
Mr. Watts, I'm sorry to interrupt the meeting.
No, you good. He's in here. And he's
Mr.
not
Watts, I need
connected to.
No, he's not. I'm gonna just call him on his phone.
Okay, that works.
I have another question.
Yes,
There'll
sir.
be no filed on my savings bonds, will they?
No, there won't. I'm just strictly dealing with these matters. You have a really nice, clean record. We can dismiss at least 2 of the tickets. I know you have some disputes about the last one, but just send me the other one because he has a valid license. Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Appreciate you.
No problem. We're gonna get through this.
I'm trying to write it down because I can't really see.
Take your time, just do it. I'm sitting right here waiting. Okay. The speeding ticket that he's disputing at this point in time, I could set it for it's 26 to 31. He was doing it was a stationary radar 51 and a 25.
Jesus.
Alleged.
Is this your
This is Daniel Williams.
51 and a 35?
25, unfortunately. It looks like he was on a Hubble and Eaton. I'm sorry, I should enunciate my words, as my dad would say.
What's his record looking like, Judge?
This is it. His record is totally clean. And he does not have a CDL. This is he don't have nothing on it but his name at the top of the sheet of paper.
Okay, you know what? Okay, Mr. Williams, don't do it again, okay, please? Don't do it again. Please.
I won't. I won't.
I mean, we worry about little kids and little old people like me.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I'm a part of it. Like I know y'all see the crystal. I'm real like, so it was a rough day. That's
okay.
all.
Okay, I'll give Judge, I'll leave it to the court's discretion. There we go. Whatever the judge wants to do.
Mr. Williams, when I get this little insurance, if your insurance is good, I'm gonna dismiss all 3 counts today. Look at you when you participate actively in our system.
I sent it. I just sent it to you as well.
I know. I'm just waiting for it to come through. I was excited when I saw that you had a valid license. Tell your friends, please, to do what they do and get their license because it's not that hard. And look at you. You're gonna keep a clean record today. You see that, Mr. Williams? By coming on here, I know you want to stay your ground, and I understand. That's part of growing up is learning to exercise your stuff, but it's also being respectful, and you were respectful. And look what happens when you're respectful.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that too.
Okay. All right.
Hope this kid finds someone to let him know that the stuff he was talking earlier was bullshit. I'm glad she gave him another
Sometimes
shot
it moves
because, like, he's a dumb kid.
a little slowly, so don't feel bad.
You know, Judge, usually I dismiss the insurances myself. I
Oh,
always dismiss those
okay.
insurances, so.
Will he
You know-
learn? That's up to him.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was about to
You get opportunities, hopefully you use them, you know?
say, I mean, right now he's floored me with this license after he came on here talking about some of the person of, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I've been doing my research since I was like 18.
And don't already, we had.
All right, let's move on. Let's see what's next. This seems like some weird TikTok bullshit. Chitara says he's probably sitting there in his head like, damn, that street vendor lied to me. This paladin could have smoked the shit out of me, but she decided to be merciful.
Did you know that the way that a state national removes consent from the corrupt government is through the Freedom of Information Act?
That's not what FOIA is.
Did you know that? Yeah, we use the Freedom of Information Act to remove consent from the corruption. So the things that we disagree with government doing that is corrupt against we the people, we state it because they admit it in the Freedom of Information Act, and that is how you legally remove your consent. We state it in a legal document and we inform the government of it. By doing this, we're able to reestablish ourselves back to the Republic. This is our right to self-determination. Many people have different ways of doing this. This was the legal way, lawful way that we found to do it. The republics have always existed, but they're only as strong as the people. So when asked if we were still a monarchy by Elizabeth Willing Powell's question, Benjamin Franklin told her that we are a republic if we can keep it. But what that means is a republic relies on the individual to know their rights. Must know them, must stand united to defend them. Whenever the people, populace, mass majority loses knowledge of the rights, they can be removed. A constitutional republic relies on its people knowing their rights. So do you know your rights? If you don't, how could you establish yourself using legal documents back to the republic? And if you don't know your rights, then that would mean that you're state-owned and controlled property. You don't even know it. Pledged at birth to pay the national debt in the form of taxes. Because the American people lost their constitutional right, the constitutional currency, Federal Reserve came in, started to print monopoly.
Do people not remember that we've had a surplus before? I know it's been like 30 years, but like this deep national debt problem has not always existed in the United States, but sovereign citizens act like it has. We literally had extra money in the 90s. Like, holy shit.
Monopoly money. Fake money. Lawful constitutional money has to be backed by gold or silver. It has to be. It's in your constitution. Yours. Right here, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. Must be made out of gold and silver. It says it right here in clear as day. Yet you don't have gold and silver backed currency. You have fake monopoly money. People think the Federal Reserve right here
I can use it to buy goods and services, so it's money.
Is part of government. It is separate. It's been given government powers, but it is private. It doesn't even answer to the president. It is above the president. Whatever they say goes. Nobody knows this. Even the chairman of the Fed has admitted it. Whatever we say goes. Check it out. So this is Alan Greenspan, chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank from 1987 to 2006. So
yeah, he sucks.
He knows what he's talking about. Check this out.
What should be the proper relationship between a chairman of the Fed and a president of the United States?
Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and that means basically that there is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take.
Yes? That's not a secret. They're a collaboration between private entities and the government, but they're not under the umbrella of the government. Not in that way.
So long as that...
Say what? He said they cannot overrule an action that the Federal Reserve takes. This is because they're an independent agency. I wonder what other independent agencies are out there. Do you? I don't know, let's have a look. Here's some independent agencies of our government, meaning they're outside the authority. Unless Congress requests something from them, nobody's gonna answer to them. They're independent. Oh look, there's the CIA. No big deal. They don't need oversight. And the EPA, well, they're doing all the oversight. They're making sure everything's chemical free and good for you. Federal Reserve.
He's anti-EPA?
Social Security, of course. What about some of the proposed agencies? Like this Weather Modification Operations and Research Board proposed by K. Bailey Hutchison to promote the research into weather modification. Sorry, Kate Bailey, they've already been doing the research, and we the people, we the research, getting
Oh no, chemtrail shit!
sprayed like damn bugs. So do you really need it, or is it already happening? I don't know.
Sir, those are contrails. It's condensation. Not that.
Are my eyes deceiving me?
Your brain is.
Either way, back to the Federal Reserve. This one's pretty cool. Check this out. No, they have legalese. Yeah, it's like for attorneys. It says complex legal terms explained simply, but actually...
it's jargon.
The former chairman of the Federal Reserve, Alan Greenspan, explaining Greenspeak. So what, you come up with Greenspeak?
Otherwise known as Fed speak.
What is it?
It's a language of purposeful obfuscation to avoid certain questions coming up which you know you can't answer, and saying, I will not answer, or basically no comment.
Dude, you can dislike Greenspan for valid reasons and not be a sovereign citizen. Just stop the sovereign citizen shit.
It's in fact...
I promise you can hate Greenspan.
An answer. So you end up with when, say, a congressman asks you a question, and you don't want to say no comment or I won't answer or something like that. So I proceed with 4 or 5 sentences which get increasingly obscure. The congressman thinks I am.
See, and I'm sure most attorneys don't realize why legalese would be so important. Why they would take clear and plain language and make it obscure for the...
You think the English language is clear and plain? My goodness. I don't think you have a very extensive vocabulary.
Average American to figure out. They just don't know. It may start off as something where you think you're like in a club, or you're just, I don't know, whatever you think. It's just a part of being a lawyer. And then they take something and they use it against all of us. That's what always happens. So I'm not like against the attorneys, I'm against the system. It's compartmentalize the information that pins us against each other so that we all do things that creates an environment where we're just taxed to oblivion.
We printed $6 trillion in 2020. Right, in the U.S. Average annual U.S. salary is $60,000, roughly. That's 100 million.
The median is lower than 60,000. Wait, did he say household? Annual U.S. salary? No, that'd be individual. I'm pretty sure it's lower than that.
Years stolen. Right? Through the counterfeiting of currency. If each human...
It wasn't counterfeited.
Works from the age of 20 to 70, so that's about 50 productive years per human. The counterfeiting of $6 trillion USD equals the stealing of 2 million human lives worth of productive labor, right? This is...
That's not how things work!
How did they do this? Or how did they do this? Is very simple.
By lowering bank reserve requirements temporarily.
Inflation is a direct cause and a direct result of the Federal Reserve printing your money. Most people believe that this is the United States currency, but it's actually not. The United States currency was backed by gold and silver. It is a constitutional right of the American people to have their currency backed by gold and silver.
The gold standard sucks. It's bad. You do not want your currency to be on the gold standard. It is not good.
Does 2 things. It protects against inflation, so you won't have...
It protects against inflation? No! Incorrect!
Your grocery bill doubling and tripling in 2 and 4 years, like we see videos right now. Number 2, gold and silver-backed currency, there's no national debt. Because nobody realizes. Because the Federal Reserve prints the currency, they charge an interest rate to the American people.
We had a national debt when we were still on gold-backed currency. What are you talking about?
Just for printing it. This interest rate is called usury. And usury is the direct cause of all the inflation that you're seeing right now.
What?
Usury caused that. And usury is also responsible for the entire national debt. All that...
I don't even understand how he expects things to function. How does he want things to function?
because of fake monopoly money. The Federal Reserve is so brazen that they don't even give a damn anymore. They're literally telling you, look, the 1's white, the 5 is red, the 10 is yellow, the 20 is green, and the 50 is blue. This is literally monopoly money. And
what are you talking about? All our money's the same color.
nobody knows. Because if it were real constitutionally based money, it would follow the Constitution, which is the American people's right. In the Constitution, your right is supposed to be gold and silver-backed currency. It says it right here. If you look this up, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. It says it has to be gold and silver, a tender in payment. Only. The right has been removed way back since 1913. All politicians are involved. They're all not this stupid. As a matter of fact, the games that they play are directly to keep the Federal Reserve going so that you stay entertained and you don't realize stuff like this. But the truth is, under a constitutional republic, we must restore our constitutional money or we will always be enslaved.
DM Red Pill.
Let's see what's... I'm sorry, I think you're right. I was talking about the deficit, not the overall debt. That's my bad. A surplus as opposed to a deficit. I misspoke. Oof. True, Harold Elvin, true. It's my favorite. Hyphen lol colon cow.
Not capturing fun. Stepping away was the way I found to break the chains and the ties of usury and participation with a system that I did not agree to when I was born.
Checking for music. Oh yeah, he's got tons of copyrighted music.
Project begins, nations to even have a flag, and where did this construct begin?
From my investigation, the system that the world has been set up on has been that of a feudal system. And so
is Derek Savage and Russell J. Gould the same person? Maybe. I've never seen them in the same room.
So as entities begin warring against entities, and as entities begin shipping themselves throughout the world, across the oceans and through the seas, they would put banners up, and banners were the symbol of who was coming to your location or who was on the battlefield. So it came from a concept of feudalism. That concept carried
feudalism is when flags on a battlefield
over as ships would make it to other destinations. It would be the manifest of the terms of who was coming to do business, to conduct business. And so as commissions were
which book thing, Harold Elberman?
Paid for ventures and voyages for ships to go across oceans and go across seas, the commission would have what they call goods aboard the vessel, otherwise known as a manifest. And that manifest, as they would go from port to port, location to location, would be the terms of goods to negotiate trade amongst societies, amongst clans. From the native culture, it was not so much banners and flags, it was more symbolisms built around spiritual ideologies.
I see.
So that translated to the native community when the natives worldwide were tricked by a genocide of an agenda to capture their lands, to capture their...
Tricked by a genocide of an agenda to capture their land. Okay. Yeah, indigenous people got fucked over, their land was stolen, and genocide happened, but that sentence was messy.
People, it was conveyed and they were given and told...
Oh yeah, Harold Elberman, I still gotta look at those, sorry.
About the flag etiquette, which was a crime against those native people on a worldwide level. The main culprits for that was the Vatican and the Jesuit Society of Missionaries, who would go from tribal state to tribal state on a global level, learn about their concepts and direct them into this concept of flag etiquette. Oh, they would first carry their flag for their Jesuit order or their Vatican, and that's how that kind of got carried over into the native position. However, from a feudal position, when the sheiks of the Middle East or the monarchs of England and the feudal system, they would have banners to represent who was fighting where, direct columns. This was a feudal concept of flag etiquette. So the flag protocols came from a feudalistic position to give closure on communication of voyages and battlefield positions.
Technically positions. So if you were Christopher Columbus coming over to America in the day, or any of those, even the Spanish Armada, you're coming over, you landed here on these shores, but there is no nation technically set up with a flag. How does that
oh my God.
translate? What happens at that point?
They were under the Spanish Armada flags. And so they were in a position where they were under someone else's colors. And those colors would represent the terms of how they were going to conduct business when they got here. And so they were a front runner, like a broker, for those who funded the voyage.
So when they came upon a land where there were no flags, how does one then bridge that gap and interpret that? So the Indians didn't have a flag, these people arrive, here's a flag, now what?
They were tricked.
Okay, I'm tired of Russell J. Gould using terrible things that happen to indigenous nations for his sovereign citizen slop.
You know, what I wanted to talk today about is...
T-Time T says this is literally the Eddie Izzard joke, but he's taking it seriously.
Is our trusts and our trust documents and getting our common law trust in our 3 different jurisdictions so that we can claim ownership of our names all 3 ways. And by 3 ways, I mean lowercase, proper, and uppercase the trust. And we got to claim ownership to the trust, hold it in trust. We need to get EIN numbers in those jurisdictions so that we can have the accounts transferred into those trusts. And that's the way they're doing it now. And it's one of the most important things we can do. And then put everything we own in trust so that we own nothing and they don't know us. And then we're truly operating in the private.
Trying to hide all his assets. Lovely. That's the same thing Marcel does, basically. Steve with a Q says, hey chat, don't go to that website on the screen. They don't. And then it cuts off.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the David Straight Mastermind. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We hope you
They don't offer a free man bot at all. Okay, I get it.
A wonderful week. We're glad to see you're all gathering here. Glad to see the links are working. We're very
okay. I gotta call it. I'm sorry. I'm very tired all of a sudden. I gotta call it before I start annoying people with how sleepy I am. So thanks everyone for hanging out for another Sovereign Citizen Watch. I'll be back tomorrow for probably MAGA Cope Chud Watch. If I don't find enough material for it, then we'll probably end up doing more tinfoil, but we'll probably have MAGA Cope stuff. The DNC's going on, so I'm sure they're doing stupid stuff in reaction. Who are we gonna raid?
Off at the
Of course,
mouth
Phoenix.
and Thursday is
All right, have a great night, everyone. Let's do this raid. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll hope to see you there. I'm gonna go eat. Oh. Ew. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.